What is going on, YouTube world? Steve, Vinny, Dave, IRP, episode number 96. Next week, you'd think this would be possibly a better topic for next week since it'd be on the doorstep, but you got to remember it starts next Wednesday. So you got a travel day on Tuesday. That means possible late flights or just being tired. So with that being said, I figured give a little breathing room for the people that are actually going out there. You can pick it up this weekend maybe, and if you watch this after the fact, you're packing, you're sorting cards, maybe you're bringing out AC, getting your vouchers for the casinos or the after hours entertainment. Maybe you've got a buy one get one situation going on. The old BOGO. In BOGO we trust. Something Mike Ashley. We're going to talk about the National, obviously. If you can read the placeholder and put the old college football sideline card together, the odd plays that they play or they put up there, you will figure out possibly who our scheduled guests are tonight. And, we'll bring a few of them on in a moment. A couple others are going to come a little later, not terribly later, but they had some paternal unit things to do before popping on here. So anyway, you guys, how's the last week been?
Busy, hot, tiring, crappy. Any other adjectives I can throw out? No, I think that about sums it up. I don't want to keep them waiting too long, so I figured I'd keep it short and sweet.
And Vinny doesn't even unmute the mic. So.
Yeah.
All must be good and kosher in Kuzo's corner or Kuzo's corner and
Cuzzo's corner.
92-93 Ultras being repped.
2022 out there, 1992 in here.
Hi.
That's the setup we roll with.
Damn you, Dave.
We're nothing without it.
Thank you for getting that out early.
I figured as much since
I'm sure I'll set him up again.
Yeah.
Let's try not to. No segues.
It's almost like we're a curio cabinet where we've got the great lighting going on.
Hi. I think I'm going to put in my official retirement.
You go nowhere.
So with we'll use everybody's favorite line from the YouTube Hall of Fame videos, which I could pretty much, if you listen to this, and I hope whoever's listening out there now does this in the next go around, when Jake announces like the balloting or whatever, if you watch any video and this isn't said, there's two lines. I can't say the other one. Well, I could, but without further ado, bringing on to the show in no particular order, we have a couple guests right now. Mr. Morrissey, Ed Weskerville, and returning from one of the longest absences, I guess, between, I'm sure, is our good friend Joey, Birdcat 8, Mr. Bart Star Collector, and again the NFL Top 100, the Spectra Hall of Fame, Packers stuff in general. So if you sort of look at the placeholder, there's 2/3 of the component. and we'll get into talking some of their plans, what their focal point is for Atlantic City besides staying alive and such decrepit shambles known as fucking New Jersey. I mean, that's just that's literally the sphincter of the world.
I saw my
gonna
first
make
hobo
you
fight
star-
back there. Time there.
That's gonna make your brown star browner. I mean, it's not good. So, Ed, I'll ask you first. Are you excited? I mean, I know these are rhetorical questions. Are you excited? And if you are, what for? What about this year's national? Since you've started going the last 6-ish, 7 years,
2016 was my first national,
and
and that was
I
in
think
Atlantic City.
and that was like a build up for you to get out, to finally, hey, I'm going to go to the big show. Now that you are a seasoned veteran, what about the 2022 national are you looking forward to the most, either hobby related or just community related?
Definitely more skewed towards the community. Really, I mean, I'm extremely excited for the national, but really looking forward to meeting up with friends, talking, hanging out. Hobby wise, I think it's going to be a strange national. A lot of people were talking about how it's going to be, well, it should be a buyer's market, since a lot of things seem to be going down. But then you'll read Twitter or you'll read Facebook, and people are like, no, no, no. So, it's going to be, prices are going to be insanely high. A lot of these dealers have too much invested into these cars. They're going to be very stern on prices. So I guess we're just going to see when we get there how it's going to be. I know the National keeps saying that it's supposed to be record attendance since they sold a bunch of tickets, a bunch of VIP passes and stuff, but I just don't see how it's going to be busier than last year, because last year, as Joey will attest to, it was wall-to-wall people. You couldn't see any showcases. It was just like a sea of humanity everywhere you went. The convention, there were so many people in the convention center, the air conditioner broke or was down for a good part of the day on Thursday and Friday. It was super, super hot in there, sweating buckets, losing 10 pounds of water weight. So
you were in Texas.
basically, basically.
It was 90s. I know a couple days that week last year.
I just don't see how it's going to be like that this year. Again, I could be totally wrong, but it's Atlantic City. I just don't see how all these people. It's difficult if you're in the Midwest or the West Coast, or you're not in the immediate northeastern east. Like, if you're not in the northeastern part of the country, it's difficult to get to Atlantic City, period. You got to fly into Philly, and then you got to drive down to Atlantic City or take the train down to Atlantic City. So, again, I might be totally wrong. It might be incredibly crowded. It might be record shattering or whatever, but I just don't see that right now. But again, could be wrong.
And Joey, for you have traveled, and again, I think you've traveled with Jason, the last couple of years?
I traveled with Jason to every Chicago show,
Okay.
except for the early on one.
Okay.
But I traveled with other people to Cleveland too before.
Okay. So,
Sorry, Joey. Neil was sitting there, and I was getting ready to pull him on. Nope, there he is.
Oh.
Nope. Let me pull him on real quick.
There's my guy.
Yeah, what's up,
There he
guys?
is. What's going on,
So
Neil?
I tried to get the volume going. I couldn't hear.
yeah, before you jump on, it says check your mic, check your camera. You actually have to hey, and then the the volume thing kicks in on your side, and
There we go. Okay. Everybody can hear me though, right?
yes,
Yep. Can
Awesome.
hear you.
Ryan said he's setting up right now.
What's up?
Yep, there he is.
that guy.
Oh my gosh,
Yo.
what is going on? I didn't know Steve was going to be here.
I am one half of this crazy group of people.
Oh, that's great. I was just told it was going to be Dave and Joey. That's all Neil told me. So hi, everybody else.
So quick introduction. So Vinny up there in the other corner. Oh, wrong corner. This one over here.
That one.
So we've got Ryan at the bottom and Neil of RBI Crew 7.
How's it going?
Hey,
We go way back 12 years.
Way back.
Ed, I'm sure you know of Ryan and Neil.
Yes.
You've
Well-
been around as long as we have. But we got Ed, Wesker Griffin, and of course everybody knows Joey just because Joey's Joey.
oh good. We're all
That sums it up.
So it's good to have you guys.
yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
having us, man. Hey, it's good to see everybody. I guess. So who's all coming next week?
Joey and Ed.
Okay, about half, right?
I'll be there.
Oh, Neil too.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, it wouldn't be RBI Crew 7 sports cards and collectibles if Neil wasn't there. Just, it
That's
just
true.
wouldn't be the same. It would be RBI sports
Yes.
Yeah.
cards and collectibles. It's just not the same.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, it doesn't. No offense, Ryan. No offense.
None taken.
So, Joey, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead and finish what you were talking about.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I wanted to make sure I got you guys on sooner than you guys kind of hanging and sitting there going, okay, what the hell's going on? I'm sitting here. I didn't want y'all to just be sitting there thinking, okay, we didn't know you were there. So I wanted to make sure we got you guys onto the show quickly.
Well, Dave was just asking me about where I traveled so far and how I got to the certain ones. I rode to Cleveland once. Didn't like doing that. I also flew into Cleveland. That was a lot better. It was worth the paying for the flight. But every Chicago we've rode in. I've even gotten there on Tuesdays before the show even starts because I'm helping out people that are setting up. So I've done multiple different things. Now this is the only one where I have to plan because I have to have Everett pick me up from Philly. So yeah, this is the one that you got. It's a challenge. If I didn't have Everett there, I wouldn't. I'd probably have to rent a car, I guess. And me driving in a big city is not going to help anybody on the road. So yeah, there's a few different ways, but this one works out. But my roommate Everett, who's going to make it this year, thank goodness.
Hey.
Yay.
Because I missed him last year, big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one he's going to pick me up in Philly. We'll be there for Wednesday. Ready to look. I'm going to probably spend the whole day Wednesday, probably waiting at BGS like a chooch. But that's when I have to. So that's really I already have that day kind of slotted out just for that.
I'll get to that. I'll come back to you, but I'm going to ask Ryan and Neil. For you guys, being dealers, this is what? Because I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, 2011 was your first show.
Correct.
Yep.
Because I remember that was a big deal for the community because we had the big group picture at the table.
We still have that picture hanging up in the shop too.
Yep.
A lot of familiar and unfamiliar, I'm sure by this moment, as we get older faces, you're like, I think maybe that's, I don't know. Especially if the folks were on YouTube and right after that they go away, then you've got 10 years of not seeing them, and then they deactivate their channel or shut it down. It's now I'm completely at a loss. But I know
Yeah.
we had a huge turnout of people there because there was pretty much that was the meeting place, and that's basically what it's been since the inception of you guys going to set up at the show. It's like that's where a meeting spot is. It's like go to RBI Crew. We
Yeah.
YouTubers, IGers, everybody alike will go. I'm sure that's the mecca, as it were. Just because you know where people are at. It's like, well, I know I see jerseys over here, but there's the RBI Crew guys. I'll see Neil, or I'll see there's Tyson over there. I see him.
Yeah.
But
it's been pretty cool.
for you guys, what do you bring? And again, this is I sort of know because again I've known you guys. Steve has known you guys forever. Joey, same thing. But for the folks that maybe don't know you as well, aren't indoctrinated to what you guys bring to the proverbial table at a show, because you set up a lot of shows. For the national, what goes through your mind to bring? And then conversely, what are you looking to acquire? Because I know it's not always the Kobe auto patches, the Jordan inserts, the Shohei whatever numbered rookies. There's a lot of stuff that you guys pick up that it's on the radar of some folks, but on a lot of folks' radar, it's just like, it's not a green pulsar or something. It's stuff we loved collecting.
Yes.
For that general purpose, collecting for fun.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Neil, you
Go
want
ahead.
to, or do you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. So Neil knows that obviously we put a lot of work into this. So basically this year at the National, this is going to be the most booth we've ever had. We have 2 booths. Normally we get 1 in Chicago. We share out stuff. But right now I think we're projecting the 22, 23 display cases we're going to have out, Neil.
Yep, 22 is what I thought.
Yeah, we're going to finalize that in the next 24 to 48 hours. However, so obviously my goal is to not have the same thing that everybody might have at their other tables, something you're going to see all the time. Let's be honest. If you can click on your phone and go find on eBay, like, base lab or just run-of-the-mill stuff. I mean, we've all been doing this long enough. I think we're all in the same boat. We love on-card autos. We love autographs. I mean, we love game use patches. We love the iconic stuff that we grew up with that were impossible to pull. So my thing is I want to have primarily autograph cards is always my goal. And just to have that unique type stuff, not something you're going to find everywhere else. Now, this year, we're not bringing really much anything under $100. Basically, the cheapest you may find in our case, maybe $80, $90, and that could be because of the reserves. Sure, there'll be a few base labs of like Josh Allen and, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, but those are kind of reserves. I've got autographs of all those guys I want to get out first. And my goal is to have all the cases filled up with $100 and up stuff, which could be anywhere from $100 up to, I'm bringing a couple cards in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. We're bringing cards in the 200, 500,000, 2,000, 20,000, 15. We're bringing something for almost everybody if it's $100 and up. We obviously had the shop where when we started, you guys know, we did bargain boxes. I had 1 or 2 display cases, and we had to do bargain boxes because it's all I could afford. And this is 2011. This is 11 years ago for Neil and I. So it was a big gamble when we went out there to do that, all the expenses and everything. And this time we're bringing all that type of stuff plus reserves. So I want to have reserves for everything because I want to keep these cases full at all times. So that's basically kind of what we're bringing. So we're going to be bringing, Joey would say Brett Favre autos, Aaron Rodgers autos. We'll have, Dak Prescott's. We'll have Michael Jordan's. We'll have, obviously, LeBron's. I'm bringing some Giannis. Then you go to baseball. We got Trout's. We got Otani's. We got Acuna's. Hockey. We even got some hockey. Another thing I'm dabbling into, a lot of people don't know, I've been playing a lot with non-sport autos lately. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Actually, I enjoy it. So to me, it's like, man, I don't know how much more, like Star Wars and Game of Thrones, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know if anything says I'm a big dork now, but that says it all. Like I do all sports cards and then now gaming cards or non-sports. I don't do gaming yet, but so we're going to bring that. We have soccer cards. I've really branched out. I wanted to be so diverse this year, and I've had such a game plan for a year going into this because not only do we have all that space, I have 5 people working under me. There's 6 of us total going. It's Neil, Dave, Mr. 101, Adam Frankenstein Cards. My brother Reese, it's his first national ever, so he literally took off his job this week to come work for me. And then Matt Hannell, who's one of our guys at the shop as well. So we have, this has been planned out. I actually have the sheriff, John Yates, should be here within the next 10 to 15 minutes to work with me the next 2 days from home, pricing more cards. We've been pricing nonstop for the past week and a half. I'm sorry I'm rambling on. I'm trying to get to my points. But basically, that's kind of where my plan of attack is I want to have as much diversity, priced absolutely the best we can, spot on right, try to be fair to everybody. You know, we're there as much as a collector, as much as you're a collector. We understand people got to flip, but we're also like, hey, we're not going to give away a great autograph card to you. We're not going to give it to you for 70% of comps when I'm paying probably 80% of comps for that card. I mean, you're going to have the right stuff. So when it goes to buying, I'm getting pickier and pickier as time goes on. And sure, if it's a good deal and the box makes sense, we can bring it back to the shop and work on it. But when I'm there, I want to buy more things that I have in my cases to get back out so I can work on it at the National. So I'm going to be looking for more autograph cards, old school stuff that we love. They're late 90s, early 2000s football autos, stuff like that. I mean, that stuff always hits my heart. I think it does for all of you as well. And so really that's what we're going to be looking for the most part throughout the show. And then I'm really the only thing people keep asking me, like, what are you going to do? You're going to buy LeBron. I really want Giannis autos. I really want to pick up some more Giannis for me. That's where my focus is because I'm bringing about 20 Giannis autos, but I'm doing the traditional upgrading. I always did this with LeBron for years. I always had a LeBron case. I'm going to do the same thing with the Giannis, sell other solid Giannis's, but then leave upgraded to other ones I want. So, Neil, what about you?
I don't know if you could tell, but he's the talker of the two of us.
Bob.
I like to be the quiet one. No,
by now.
we definitely have come along.
Whatever do you mean? That has never been the case ever.
Never.
Cut Neil up.
But the thing, he like as soon as last year's nationals were done, we were looking for what we're going to get for this year, planning ahead. It's a year-long process getting ready for this show. 22 cases. He knew we were getting 22 cases last year, so he knew we were going to have to fill them up. So he had a game plan in mind. I mean, he's doing soccer. He doesn't do soccer. So we're trying to get a little bit of everything. I mean, it's crazy to think in 2011 we had dime cards, and in 2022 nothing below $100. It's a crazy hobby.
And another thing is about 95% of what we bring has never been in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy
Interesting.
thing. Yeah.
Just thrown back in boxes.
So stuff that you haven't even shared technically anywhere.
Oh, it could have been shared on social media, like we bought it up, but, again, customers know we have this type of stuff. We always tell them, like, look, if there's somebody looking for, like, a kid come in like a week ago, do you have any judge honors? Yeah, let me grab a few from home and bring them. We like to have one or two of those guys out in the shop, but I don't need to have 6 or 7. I want to have reserves and things like that for the Nationals. So I want to bring in stuff, but not many people, if you've seen it, you've only seen it once from a post, if I even posted it. That's kind of what we're striving at. We just don't want you to see something you can see every day, not only around, but every day within us too. That's our goal.
I mean, there was stuff. He was pricing cards today and showing me stuff in a box. I was like, oh, crap, I forgot you had that. When did you pick that up?
Me too. I forgot I had it too, to be honest with you.
So conversely, and Dave, I have a feeling at some point you're going to leverage this as a question, though, too, because a lot of people may or may not know, but Ryan and Neil are still collectors.
Oh, yeah.
They've had the shop for an extended period of time. Dave and I, 100%. Joey, I can't speak for you because, Joey, I haven't known you as long as Dave has.
Hi, Joey.
But, Dave and I know and were around when you guys started RBI Crew 7, the shop itself. We were around, and we saw it grow, we saw it expand and just, blow the F up. But you've always been collectors. You've always been collectors at heart. You still have personal collections. Ryan, I know you share some stuff from time to time, your famous family breaks that you do once a year, and it's stuff that you do with your family.
Once a year now. Let's just put it there. The kids are getting into it, so we break a little bit more now.
which it's one of those in which I love to see. But from a collector perspective, walk us through the mindset of as a dealer and something comes across your table to where it's like, this would do well with the shop, but I really want this. How difficult is it sometimes between the both of you to dictate what you ultimately leverage and purchase for the shop compared to what you do for your personal collection? And I'm gonna throw it at Neil first.
Whoa.
And the reason, because Neil doesn't share a lot of PC stuff on Instagram. So
he's got a pretty good PC too.
I know he does. Those of us who've been around know quite a bit of what he has.
Well, I've gotten a lot more too.
He's got a lot of that Tim Brady guy. A lot of nice.
Yeah, that guy. Now, Ryan already knows if it's Adam Wainwright and it comes across the table, it's not going anywhere but into my PC usually, unless I have it. And Dave will appreciate this. Not too long ago, I finally picked up the Josh Johnson Wainwright duel that I hadn't had. Never found the right price, but I finally got it.
06 exquisite.
Yes. But I mean, I usually tell Ryan, like, okay, I'm looking to pick this, or this up. So he keeps an eye out. Like last year, he picked up a Jeter, I think it was Dynasty, 2 of 5 patch auto, because I wanted to get myself a Jeter auto. Hey, I got one of them. Yes, sir. I got one of them.
It's a quad.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, anything Wainwright that I don't have, he knows goes into the PC for me. But like this year, before we leave, I'm going to tell him a couple of things I'm looking for. But other than that, I mean, everything goes to the shop as far as I see.
You're talking like you're not coming. You're getting in Wednesday morning.
Well, I know, but I'm getting in a little late. But sorry.
You're not. Well, you're getting in earlier this year than last year, as long as flights don't get away. So
Yeah, fingers crossed.
yeah. So to go with Neil, what's he showing up now? Oh,
Hey, I don't think I have the Verlander
The
version.
Verlander version.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Verlander's on there.
Oh, I definitely don't have that one.
5.
See?
That's
There's
nice.
Wainwrights I don't have. There you go.
Oh, that's the reason why. Dave's got all-
Of course, let Dave rub it in while he's at it.
That's all right.
in the face. And I love it. He just had his. The best part was, it's like he had it ready to go.
They're right there, yeah.
He's like, new. It was just right there. It's like we didn't know what we were going to talk about, but he's got his Josh Johnson box ready to go. That's what I was
He's been organizing. Don't let him fool you. He's been organizing for like 6 months.
That's awesome. Hey, at least, hey, it shows because he knew where it was.
Yep, they do right where it was.
So to go with Neil said, 5-10 years ago, it was a lot harder, obviously, to go, all right, I want this for my PC, but the business, times were different. We know this. I mean, we all know the cards were a completely different animal 3 years ago, 4 years. I mean, 2 years ago in Nashville, it was insane. But in 2019, I remember, for example, LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10s got up to a peak of $45,000. I was selling that card for $1,200 at the 2019 National, and I bought and flipped a ton. I was buying and flipping Luka Doncic PSA 10 Prism rookies, paying $30 a piece, 25, 30, flipping them for 50, and they got up to 2,000 at one point. So we're talking times were completely different in so many ways. So throughout the years, it was a lot harder for us to put our interests first over the business, but we did it. Yes. Now, if we want the damn thing, we gonna keep it. That's how it is now. Really,
Yes, sir.
it's a lot easier now because we work so hard. And I don't just say it's we, not only just Neil and I, but it's, a whole team effort.
The whole team.
It really is at the shop. I mean, so we all work hard, and it's like, I don't actively go out and look for things anymore. If it comes my way, I love the more experience of, I'm old school traditional. If it walks up to me, or if I see it at a show, if I can physically touch it, it's more of, it was meant to be than clicking a button, looking on eBay. So it's got a lot easier over the years for me. I'm sure I'll pick up some stuff for myself, but my mindset is a lot different right now on everything. I mean, I've got 3 kids. If, wife's not working, she's a stay-at-home mom now. So, business comes first on this one, but I'm sure it'll change real quick. I mean, I say that I bought the Trae Young Contenders rookie auto, 9.510 True 101 auto, and that was a lot of money. And I still have that because I like Trae Young. And that was a lot of like, oh my God, what am I doing? So.
Yeah, while the rest of us sit there and gripe and complain about trying to find retail wax and pay MSRP, and you're dropping $100,000 on a card.
What-
Anyways,
it wasn't that much.
anyways, so Joey, from your perspective, same question. You being straight collector, I'm sure, and I'm going to throw this out there, and I don't mean to steal your thunder. I was going to ask Ed first, but since he darted briefly, is Bart Starr going to be your main area of focus, or do you have like a set group of cards or players that you're looking for this year?
I'm hoping Atlantic City has a few different stars that I haven't seen or haven't got. It's tough for me to find stuff because I have so much of it now.
Yes,
You would have asked me 3-4 years ago, I probably needed it. I've made several deals with RBI Crew 7.
Yes.
They've got me a few
You've
different
gotten
players.
quite a bit from us.
I tried to get the quotable from Ryan a couple of years ago. He wouldn't budge. I don't know if it's in your PC still, but I got one along the way. I actually own 2 of them.
Oh, wow.
At one point.
The Ice Bowl?
The Ice Bowl champs, yes.
Yeah.
I sold one last year. I'm gonna find stuff. I'm sure. Atlantic City is just a hopeful area because it's East Coast. Hopefully, some stuff. Bart Starr sells Midwest. It's gonna sell, but I think it sells everywhere really well. Now, I'm part of the problem because of that because I'll pay a lot for them. But when I started going around last time in Atlantic City, I found stuff, but I didn't purchase. That's the only place I didn't get a Bart Starr auto was last time in Atlantic City. It seemed like the dealers were just, this is what I see. It's going for on eBay. I'm going to triple it. It was just that kind of a feel to it. So I really didn't pick up anything there. But I'm always hopeful to walk into something. I use a lot of trade stuff coming along the way because I do have a dupe or 2 that I picked up along the way because I upgraded. And it's people will say, oh, I'm going to get a Bart Starr for a Bart Starr. It usually works out pretty well. But you just never know. I mean, it might be just one of those nationals that it might be absolutely crazy and I might not find it. I might find stuff that might be just out of my range for some of this stuff because I guess since I started collecting Bart Starr, he's in a lot of iconic sets, and I have a few of those cards that he's in an iconic sets, and I got them at bargain basement nothing compared to what they would sell for now. So if that kind of stuff shows up on the floor, I've seen cards that I never thought would do $1,000 for Bart Starr doing that plus on eBay. And you're just like, if that's the case, then I got
Actually, not that I
Bart
think
Starr
I
autos
might have
are
a star you may not have.
What's that?
It might have a star you may not have.
Oh,
Yeah.
I may. I'll send you a picture later. I believe it's an absolute patch on it of 5. I think. You
I
may
don't have a lot of absolute stuff. So yeah, that's in my range of what I need. That's from like
Okay. Not there. I just thinking. I'm like, I think I actually have a star. Believe it or not. Or not. I was going to hit you up.
just if I need it, you can just do something at the national.
Yeah, of course.
But there's hope that there's gonna be stuff there. Last year I found stuff because I knew some people. I got John Summers had one that I almost died over, and I had to have. He's just like, oh, I think I got this one. I'm like, you could have texted me. But yeah, there's always hope, and the more people I know, and that's what I always wanted to tell everybody: keep your phone on at the national, and make sure you check it all the time because it's gonna. Is if someone finds something there, it's your phone will go off. So there is hope, though. But the more eyes, the better it is.
Oh, makes sense. So Ed, from your perspective, Dave, and I'm sure you probably have some other questions, but for once, I'm actually taking ownership of our show.
This guy.
Flex. Representing, folks. Representing with the
There we
freaking
go.
IR t-shirt. So Ed, from your perspective, Was it last year that you? Was it last year you made the trade or the year before? It doesn't matter. Are you
It was-
looking to take product, trade bait? Are you looking for anything specific? What's your game plan for this go round?
Yeah, it was last year that I made the trade. This year, this year's a little bit weird for me. I still haven't completely figured out my budget yet for the show. Usually, the last couple nationals I've spent. I don't even think I spent that much last year because the major card that I got, the Trout update in the PSA 9, I traded for that, so no cash moved hands. It was just a straight trade. And last year I didn't go through any value boxes, not because I didn't want to, just because like it was impossible to go through value boxes just with the sheer number of people there.
Yep.
My strategy this year was kind of to look through some value boxes since I completely neglected that last year, and that wasn't even a part of the experience last year. So I'm still trying to figure out what the budget's going to be for me. Normally, I never spend more than like $1,200 to $1,300. Like, I kind of stay within my means. I'm not not a high roller or even kind of a medium roller. I like to kind of stay in my lane value wise. I don't want to spend too much money and go home broke. But I'll probably wind up be bringing. I'll probably bring some stuff that I'm looking to move. PSA just hammered me recently, which kind of messed up my budget a little bit, popping a couple orders from like 2021. So a bunch. I just had some recent PSA orders come back, so that's like $500 right there off the budget that I had to pay for to get those cards back. So the time of that kind of sucked. Then I was thinking about potentially grading cards at the National. There was two cards in particular, and I got them right here that I really, really wanted to grade, but I'm not going to grade them because PSA is charging $250 for on-site grading. So the one card I wanted to grade was
All right.
was this second year carry
Oh,
auto, which is numbered out of 49. So that's my only carry autograph. And this I've had this since when? I've had this since 2010. I got this in a trade on YouTube all the way back in 2010. Still in the same magnetic. Haven't done anything with it. And I think it would probably get a 9, but I just wanted to get it graded just to protect it. And it's an expensive card, so I didn't really want to send it in the mail and have PSA hold it hostage for like six months to a year. So I'd rather just have them graded. But for $250 with the budget I'm planning on going, I'd rather just spend that money on cards or singles or something else. Not to get something graded that I don't have any intention of selling. Same with this card.
oh, that's awesome.
Oh, Jon Snow.
That's awesome.
Now,
I love that.
Dave and Steve, and I think even Joey know, like, I'm a pretty big Game of Thrones collector. Like,
Yeah.
I remember going, like, I've been going to the National and asking dealers, hey, you got any Game of Thrones cards? Any Game of Thrones Rittenhouse stuff that you guys have? And usually there's only like one or two dealers in the whole thing that have any Game of Thrones cards. But this card I got years and years ago. I only paid $100 for it.
Nice.
And I saw like a recent PSA comp that was like a little over $3,000. And I was just like, that is pretty insane. Like, I know non-sports has gotten really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And this is a case hit card. So this would be like, if I was torn. I was like, I only paid $100 for it. Do I want to get it potentially graded and maybe move it at the National and break up some of my set? But I'm probably not going to get this graded. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. And this card in particular, I think it would probably, maybe PSA would probably give it a 9. Rittenhouse kind of has some issues, quality control issues on a lot of the edges and the corners. But the one thing in particular with this card, and my webcam's not doing it proper justice. Like a lot of these cards, especially the gold autographs, there's tons of streaking in the signature. This one in particular is actually a lot better than a ton of what I have seen out there. It looks better in person, but a lot of those autographs have really, really bad streaking issues. So anyway, those are two cards that I wanted to get graded, but I was thinking PSA would maybe charge like 100 or maybe like 120 or somewhere around there, but 250. Like I said, $500 to get two cards graded. Rather just spend that money buying singles or going through value boxes or buying showcase cards.
It's awesome, man.
Which again, if you're wanting to move those two cards, yeah, grade them. But obviously, you're not looking to necessarily move it.
That one's got it. There, the whole rainbow is getting done of the select.
There you go.
That's sharp.
Beautiful.
Also, the 6-way that I showed, no matter what it gets for grade.
That's
Wow.
So,
Yeah, that thing is
Gorgeous.
well, I have a question since I'm here. Here's the card that comes with that, the certificate of authenticity. What would they do with that if I graded the card?
They give it back to you.
They just, I have to keep it like this?
They would just give it back to you inside the box or whatever. They just wouldn't slab it. It would just stay with it.
Okay.
Like, there. Go ahead. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Of course, Ryan would have an example. You know,
I'm sure that's he knew. I never had a card like that. I had a grade.
Okay. So this is with Beckett.
I'm gonna do Beckett with it.
Okay, this is a 2006 Ultimate Buyback Griffey Auto. That's where am I going? So there's only 15 of these. So it's got, like, it even tells you on the holder. And then it's got the stamp on the back, the sticker.
Yep.
But then here's the COA with it. So they'll just hand it back to you in the box. So you can literally have it with it still.
Okay.
So that's basically what they'll do. So they'll, like I said, they like labeled all that out. And this is what I didn't grade this myself. I bought it from somebody else who did. So, but I have LeBrons like this that are buyback stuff. So they basically, it's always good to give them the cert with it just to have extra validity and stuff. But then they'll give it right back to you in the box.
Right.
So
The numbers match up. That's all I really cared about.
yeah. Bingo.
But I rather have it with than without.
100%.
Yeah.
They won't lose it. You'll be fine.
now sort of the question. I don't know if many folks ask because we're a different show, we're a different breed. One will be show related, one because it'll be location of the show related. Do you plan on hitting up any of like the trade nights, and again, I don't know if Instagram has, I see them on YouTube, like the meetups at like a bar or somebody rented out an area to go to and just sort of like a group meetup. You plan on hitting any of that type of stuff up? And if so, what in particular? And when you're at these shows, and this goes for you guys, Ryan and Neil, when you're other places, if you go like Indy, if you go wherever else to set up, what are you eating? Are you going just for whatever's open at that particular time? Or
Wawa.
do you go to some, I know Chicago, it's what, usually Gibson's and Portello's and Giordano's in some sort of shape, form, or fashion.
Exactly.
But you're an AC now.
Yep.
What's the plan out there? Because again, I'm still a man of large means, not natron, but large. So I didn't get that way by drinking water and jogging. So I'm always curious because a lot of people you see, they're just like, oh fuck it, I'll go to McDonald's or Taco Bell. Like, you can't do that 5 straight days. If you're with roommates in a hotel room, nobody's gonna like you. and nobody's probably going to like you on the floor if you're at a booth. So I mean, because you do, for you guys, I'm imagining you can sort of write that off as a business lunch or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
and as an expense. But for the common plebes like Joey and young Edward and me, Steve, and Vinny, when we go, where would you go? How does that factor into your budget? Because that's something that nobody talks about. They truly don't.
No.
It's not like if I've got $10 value meal and all that stuff's went up too. It's not like a $5 meal anymore. Everything's 10 or more, even at the fast food places. So
You got to remember, this is Atlantic City. There's
Yeah.
also casinos everywhere too that also can take money.
there's a lot of hands trying to grab for that coin.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Well, what we did last time in Atlantic City is explored. The
Yeah.
boardwalk is right there.
Yeah.
You can find eateries like you wouldn't believe. That boardwalk goes along the whole state. So if you want to find a place, we found a pizza place that a couple guys liked. We went there. I just walked miles down that boardwalk, and you can find anything you want.
Yeah.
My favorite place I found just out of the middle of nowhere. It wasn't an eatery, but I found an 80s arcade in the middle of.
wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, at night, that's what I did in like. That was the most free that you could be. When you're in Chicago, if you're not driving, you're basically in one area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if in Atlantic City, at night, I walked that boardwalk and explored for miles. And like I said, you can find really anything you want. It never dies. There's people going wild all night long, every night on the boardwalk. So that's what I suggest that if you ever were going to go in Atlantic City, is you should try that. You can eat in casinos if you want to, but at night, I'm ready to explore a little, because you're right. I've never seen an ocean until I went to Atlantic City last time, so I went out there. I went and did things. I find it a little more free that way, because you can just walk. Like I said, I found that little arcade. I'm just like, hey, this is right like I grew up. I'm going to spend some quarters here. But yeah, I suggest you try that. And if you don't like that, you can. People are looking up places to go and going as groups all the time. And thank goodness I have someone that's going to be having a vehicle there. So if we did want to go somewhere, we could. It's an option. We always play it by ear anyway. Maybe Everett's not feeling like driving to wherever. We'll just go walk the boardwalk if he wants to. But I'm sure the way he's been posting on Facebook, he might be going to play some tournaments. So I don't know. But yeah, there's plenty of things. The Atlantic City is the one that you don't have to worry about at all. You can, if you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do my own thing for tonight, take a walk on the boardwalk. It's right there. So enjoy yourself doing that to make it a part of the vacation. Don't always have to be about cards. It's you can go enjoy yourself on other things. So that's my suggestion for Atlantic City.
Yeah. It's a little different for us, not in the way, shape, form of that, but we hit the road. And unfortunately, Neil gets the luxury of flying nonstop each way, leaving Wednesday, come back Sunday. We hit the road Sunday morning. We hit for a 2-day drive. Atlantic City is 15 hours without stops for us. I have to rent a 15-passenger Ford Transit van to haul our inventory and 4 of the people with me. So we hit the road, and we don't have any food plans from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for us right now. So we're just going to do kind of what Joey said. We're going to get there, and we're going to hit the boardwalk, and we're just going to find stuff. That's a great way to put it. The last time we were there was 2016, so 6 years ago, and there's a lot to take in there. He's absolutely right. Again, the casinos are everywhere. So if you have a itch, and most card guys do, unfortunately, which is scary, but that can take the money. But there's plenty, like you said, pizza. You can find almost anything. So besides that, it's a little different for us on the dinner that I'll talk about the trade nights. I have a Panini Directs party Wednesday. We have a dinner. Neil's going and 2 other guys. Thursday, I have a dinner with one of my distributors. Then Friday, I have a dinner party with that same distributor. And then Saturday is going to be all our taking all our staff out to Morton's for dinner. So we actually have got, we're doing Morton's twice, Thursday and Saturday. Thursday, it's covered by my other company. Saturday, I'm paying for basically there's 5 guys working under me, John Yates, the sheriff, and then the 4 guys from Minnesota because we have the partnership up there. So I want to take everybody out there Saturday. So I've already made reservations. So my 4 days are booked for a guy like us, for dealers. We have things going on. We're not doing the VIP party this year for Panini. We did it 2 years ago, and it was cool and all, but not one that I wanted to go back to. By the time Saturday hits, and I'm sure Joey and most of you guys who've been in the national contest, it's a long week. You're pretty damn exhausted.
Tired.
You're exhausted. And then, not to mention, Sunday we get to hit the road and drive 4 or 5 hours, sleep, and then knock it out Monday. So for the food point, I think Joey said it best. There's just so much out there. You will not have a problem finding stuff. I mean, if you want fast food, it's there. I remember we got McDonald's breakfast like once or twice there. There's everything. But my biggest thing for me, as Dave said, is an expense. I want to try food that I cannot have all the time, try something new. That's the biggest thing, because literally, when do I ever go back to Atlantic City? 6 years later is when I go for the national. I've got a family of 3 kids. I'm not trying to go to Atlantic City just for the randomness. So to go with the trade nights, it's crazy. You guys remember kind of when trade nights were, remember in Cleveland, we kind of, it kind of was started up back then, and it was crazy. It was something small that sparked into something big. Now, like, trade nights are all over. They're every night.
Huge.
We are so physically and mentally drained at the end of each show. I literally just want to go back to my room and do nothing, but I have to go to a dinner party or this and that. I have no energy and no mind to do any more cards like I used to 7 years ago in Cleveland. You know, I mean, things were different. We're not getting any younger. So let's be honest. I mean, so we're just exhausted, and it's a long week, but I try to grind and fight to spend every night I can to see everybody as much as I can. But going to trade night for me anymore, I'd rather go walk the boardwalk, like he said, take some time for myself, go maybe meet up with some friends, have a couple beers, maybe go play a couple slots just to clear my head, just hang out with people. I mean, I don't get that opportunity anymore. Neil or myself don't. We don't get to travel like 50 weeks a year like we used to 10 years ago. So
I don't get to travel that much anymore at all. Really, nationals is about it.
you're not allowed to.
Yeah, they got to run a shop.
So.
And Ed.
Eating wise, I think I'm pretty good because I'm local to the area, so like I kind of know some spots to go that are not within driving distance for most people. Like I would probably go to Ocean City or maybe like Summers Point, and that's kind of a little ways away from Atlantic City. It's like probably like a 30-minute drive, but I would probably like go there. I probably will get Manco's one day. That's like a pizza place that's in Summers Point, Ocean City. But like you guys, like I'm not planning. Like I'm not like, okay, Wednesday I'm going here, Thursday I'm going to eat here, Friday I'm eating here. Like sometimes convenience, I'll take convenience over it. Now that's completely different though for me. If I'm in Chicago or if I'm in Cleveland, like I'll specifically try to plan to go somewhere. But since I'm local to the area, like it's I'm just gonna go as it is.
And trade nights, do those appeal to you?
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't think it's gonna be spontaneous and crazy like it was last year. Last year they literally like 400 people took over the Lowe's Hotel, just like stormed the lobby and set up tables and
Never seen anything like that before.
That is not going to happen in Atlantic City solely because the casinos aren't going to allow that. They're not going to allow like 400 to 500 people just to show up with tables and start making deals on their property.
Hell no.
They're going to kick those people out. And logistically, there's not many places outside of the convention center where you can set up other than the Sheraton. It's either the Sheraton, which I imagine where a lot of these trade nights or a lot of these things are going to happen. Other than that, there's not really a big public space that's not a casino. So if people want to do it at Caesars, at Bally's, at Hard Rock, Ocean, I highly doubt that they're going to let them just set up. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe they'll do it on the boardwalk.
I do
The
know
boardwalk's a public space. Maybe they'll all line up on the boardwalk and have it.
That'd be fun.
they are apparently for the first time ever having a trade night inside the national convention.
Okay.
Like I think that's on their website or something, but they're actually doing it at the convention. It's funny because years ago, I love it. He's walking around with a cigarette in his mouth. It's great. But years ago, Mike Burgess, who passed away, who was like the head of it. Basically, I remember we went to the industry summit in 2015 because he threatened our group if we ever hosted our trade night again, we'd be banned for life from setting up a national for just having a trade night because it's taking away from dealers. So he has since passed away, and new things have changed. Not to change subject, but it's funny now they're all about trade nights and which is great. I think it's a smart idea, but it's just funny how the tone has completely changed in 6-7 years with how they approach things. So it's great to see that they're offering a trade night inside the convention. Do I know where? No, but it's got to be in a big area. I mean, you're not letting people back in the show when the doors close. That's a damn fact. So
Yeah.
Most of those
times have changed.
I'm expecting to hang out with the people I've been waiting to hang out with for the last year. So trade nights are a place I just go to see those people because they're going to be there too. Do I end up buying anything there or trading anything? Probably not. It's just I'm at that point. I had enough of cards for the whole day because I just got like overwhelmed by thousands and thousands of cards throughout the day. In the evening, I want to see these people that I've been waiting to see for the longest time. That's my thought on that. I mean, I'll probably go to them. Will I be active in there? No, I'll probably be shooting the bull with everybody I know.
Also, this just occurred to me as well. But for these trade nights, a lot of the trade nights in Chicago, if you look at the people who were going to the trade nights, a lot of them are teenagers or younger collectors, and they're not going to be allowed in on the casino floor. They're not like you got to be 21 or over to be on the casino floor in New Jersey. So that's another huge hurdle that's going to happen. So I think that's probably some of the reason too why the National wants to have a trade night inside the convention center because, like I said, logistically, there's only the convention center and the Sheraton, and anywhere else everything else is a casino. So, and especially a lot of the Pelican case guys, they're mostly on the young side, so they're not going to be able to flip Jordans on the casino floor. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to the trade nights because, like I said, I want to maybe bring some stuff with me to just peruse what some of these guys are selling at the trade or what they're looking to trade or sell at some of these events. Like I know last year when they took over the Lowe's Hotel, it was really diverse what people were trying to trade or sell. Like you had some vintage, you had some Clementes, there was some panels, Ted Williams, and then you had like ultra modern basketball, of course, ultra modern football, modern baseball. So there was the guy in the red Corvette. I don't know, Joey, if you saw that, the guy in the red Corvette who pulled up outside the Lowe's Hotel, demanding to get all the Messi cards, Messi or Ronaldo. I can't remember. I think it was Messi. Wanted every single one. Like you can't make this stuff up. Like it's will that happen in AC? I don't know. Maybe red Corvette guy will drive from Chicago to AC and want some more Messi cards. Who knows?
Chicago's always had the best stories as far having the Lawrence Taylor story. Having the Pete Rose story, the skunk outside the steakhouse, just stuff like that. The interaction that we have in Chicago, I don't think it is ever going to be. It's not going to be the same anywhere else. I did see Reggie Jackson last time I was in Atlantic City in the same elevator. That was about as close as I got to anything in Atlantic City. But all those players doing the signings, they're right in the same hotels we are in, and they're down in the lobbies. Bobby Knight that one night just showed up and eating right next to us. I met Paul Horning in the bar.
Yeah, I remember that.
Stuff like that. But I don't know if that's going to happen in Atlantic City. I did see Allen Iverson, I guess, last time in Atlantic City, shooting craps.
That's the way to go.
He had his entourage around him. It was weird. Couldn't get
Not
near
a
him.
national question. Not a national question. But I have to ask, Ryan.
Yep.
Any chance, possibility you're gonna make it back to Houston or maybe show up at a Dallas show in the near future?
I would love to get back to either or. I went to Dallas in fall 2020, and I love to travel more, but the wife tells me otherwise, and I keep pretty busy in the shop. But like I said, I got a 5'3" and 1-year-old, so it's hard for me to get away. However, as they get older, yes, I think, as they get older, it's going to be a lot easier. It's starting to get easier. Obviously, my youngest sleeps through the night now. Thank God. I love sleep. So, but I love Houston. I love the what was the restaurant we used? What was the name of the place, Neil?
Taste of Texas, wasn't it?
Well, it Tasted Texas. Yeah, best food ever. And then Dallas was awesome when I went there. So yes, if I do, I will definitely be hitting you up. How far are you from either one of those, Steve?
Well, so Houston is 4 hours. So that was the first time I had a chance. And speaking of which, I don't know if you can see that. That's
boy.
Oh yeah.
So that was my first trip down to Houston with Scott.
Yep. I remember that.
Meeting Ryan and Neil for the first time.
Yep.
Hand delivering a Just Because to Neil, which that video still has quite a few views on.
It's still on my PC.
Good. I was going to ask, because if it wasn't, I was gonna travel to Missouri and kill you.
You should
Still
tell me
it
it's not
takes.
to go to Missouri. I remember that.
Yes, sir.
So perfect segue though. Wrong card, but so this version, I was trying to look for this. So Ryan and Neil, or I don't know if it was both of you, but there is a platinum version of this card, and it's got platinum down the sides. My stuff got like misorganized, so but I wanted to at least show the card and at least express it. So the platinum variation of this card is serial numbered 1 of 1. One of my most viewed videos, and Ryan went back and I think watched it like 4 or 5 times, and talked about how my oh shit face.
Yeah, it was.
My pleasure face. He got it in Houston. That's the other reason why I was talking about Houston specifically. So Houston is 4 hours from me, but if I'm not mistaken, most of the Dallas shows are being held in Allen.
Yes.
Which is about an hour and 10 minutes for me.
Oh, perfect.
So, and I'm not a big show guy. Everybody on here who has been part of the show knows I am not a big show guy. It's one of those in which if I can't go with somebody, to me, it loses its luster. It's you go to hang out. Yes, I go to look at cards, but I'm there more for the camaraderie and the friendships and everything else. Like if you come to Dallas or Houston, I would probably sit my ass there and just watch you and Neil work, honestly, because it's there for the friendships.
Yeah, for sure.
The cards are great. There it is.
The machine.
Oh, dude. Still got it. It ain't going nowhere.
It didn't take you long to find it, even.
No, I know where it's at. I had to run upstairs, so I'm out of breath.
That was hand delivered in Houston, and that was I had a long conversation with Ryan about it because it's like, do I send it, or knowing that I'm coming to Houston, should I hand deliver it? We had a pretty long conversation about it, and that is still one of my all-time favorite memories as it pertains to YouTube. Going down to Houston, meeting the guys for the first time, hanging out, going out to dinner, and then actually hand delivering that to Neil. Because
that was awesome. It's one of my favorite memories, no doubt.
We always, it's one of those, and I don't mean this as a jab to Ryan, because Ryan knows. I've jabbed Ryan for years. We don't talk as much as what we used to, and it's called adulting. It's called life. But everybody used to send stuff to Ryan. It was like Ryan was always the one getting the hookup, and everybody forgot about Neil. Neil is important to RBI Crew 7 as Ryan is. I mean, it was you don't have one without the other, or vice versa for that matter.
Yeah.
And I pulled that card personally, which means, even at least in my perspective, it means more because it's something that I pulled.
Yeah.
I opened the product, I pulled it, and something I could have sold very easily, but I'm like, no. Neil being the big Cardinals guy, so was Ryan, but not as much as Neil. I'm like, that belongs with Neil. So I'm glad you still have it. That puts a smile on my face. I
Yes,
actually,
all these years later, still
I
right
sent,
there.
I sent that video to Vinny just so he got an idea of the RBI Crew 7 dynamic, because Ryan's the talker. He's always been the face. He's the one who always did the videos. And Neil was just the guy in the background who did a crap ton of work.
Still is that way, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
well,
that's
there
our
would be
dynamic.
there would be no RBI Crew 7 if there wasn't Neil. Neil actually is the reason why RBI Crew 7 exists, because he's the one that showed me YouTube and how we formed RBI Crew 7. So there would not be RBI Crew 7, and who knows what the shop would actually be. I don't know if Neil and I never formed that. That's the crazy thing. So, and I mean, the success of our business is only as successful as the man behind the scenes, which is Neil. There's no question, and not to say my other staff members aren't, but Neil's been my right hand man for,
Jesus.
People would literally, his brain's linked to mine. Like if I say like, oh, I need you, he's like, done. Did that.
It's already been done. Did it?
Okay, cool. Like it's great, and that's another reason why Neil's staying behind for a few days next week to get things in order, and then he's willing to, he's like, hey, I'll stay behind, do whatever, and then I'll fly in. So, but
Plus, I get an extra day or two with my boy. So
yes, and my wife gets 3 extra days and not me, and she's not thrilled about it. 3 kids for 9 days. I'm gone. I think 8 or 9 days. So, but I can't put that responsibility of the inventory and everything else on my staff for me to fly in and fly out early, and that's just not me. So, but not to make it about me again. This is about Neil. And my point was, there would be none of us talking here today if it wasn't for Neil. Like, none of him and I and you guys. I wouldn't know if it wasn't for Neil.
But, and I'm not gonna lie, I like the dynamic. I don't mind being in the background. He's a hell of a lot more of a talker than I am. That's a fact.
What you talking about, Wills?
Hashtag facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah. I got about 5 more minutes. I got to go help put the kids down, just an FYI.
No worries.
I'll leave on this because I know you'll do a little bit of vlog work maybe for IG, a little bit of that. But from a dealer's perspective, what would be one, I don't know, hint or just a common knowledge thing that maybe you'd budge a little on a number? It wouldn't have to, maybe to make the other party feel good. We've heard that a lot over the years. I mean, hey, something's 250. Well, I'd like to go to 175. Well, how about 200? Okay, that it feels like I'm winning.
Yeah.
As a buyer, how would you describe that in person at a show of this magnitude when you have so many different types of collectors, and a lot of which don't have like the communicative skills to maybe pull that off? Because I'm sure you find a lot of dickheads and assholes that you just want to reach over the table and grab their greening chains and like yank it off.
I'm biting my lip.
Teeth go right through the lip because you're just biting so hard. Like one hint, just, and again, it's probably going to be something we all could say, we all know, but I mean, just to the general populace, maybe that hasn't been to a show of this size, like, as experienced dealers, what would you suggest to potential customers? Maybe the decorum, just when you're rolling up to a table.
Okay. Basically, Neil, do you want me to?
Yeah, that's all you.
That's right.
Shocker, right?
Basically, my thing is, we've always been very kind, professional. We're all just normal guys like anybody else. But again, at the end of the day, we're there as a business, so we're going to show respect to every person, and we would like that respect shown to us. the thing is, it's the demeanor by somebody. If you're going to come off like, yo, bro, this last comp, this comp, you know,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about your comp. Here's my fist, shove it up your, no, I'm joking. So, but my point is, that's not how you talk to somebody. You know, you want to say, hey, like, you know, the biggest thing is finding a dealer who's actually going to be priced right. Because like Joey said, it's going to be hard. That yes, this is the National. There's dealers from across the country, and you're going to have some reasonable, great ones who are down to earth and great to deal with. And you're going to have some people who it's my way or the highway, and I don't care if I've got $1,000 on it, it's $800 card. I want $1,100 now because you're pissing me off asking me to take $800 for my card. There's many ways to go about this. This is as much on the dealer as much as it is the collector. But the biggest thing as a collector is obviously, I mean, you know you want it. You know, my advice would be maybe step away with your phone if you want to look up the comp and just step away. Because the biggest thing is like everybody these days is on their phone looking up comp. Is this guy like, and I get it. That's understandable. You want to know your, so back in the day, people carried around Beckett's for crying out loud and had their Beckett out, looked up and like that. It's the modern day Beckett. Look at that.
You got him.
That's awesome. So, but my point is
Oh boy.
I think it's respectful to, you know, step away, think in your head, like, okay, how I want to go back and approach this. This dealer has something I want. I think they're within the range I want to spend. So say he's got it for $250, but you don't know how that dealer is going to be. That's the biggest thing. Like our thing is like, we can come down 10%, maybe 15, because I'm going to do my best to price the best I can. My biggest thing for me, and I'm going every which way, but I'm trying to get the best advice here. If you're a kid negotiating with me and you're a really good kid, I'm going to give you like the most percentage off I can, because as long as that card's going to leave with a kid, that's to me is awesome. And I always want to make sure, another thing, if it's not a kid, I want to make sure you're a collector. Because if you're going to literally buy this card and keep this, I'm going to give you a better deal. If you're going to say, no, I got to make money, man. Well, no shit. That's what I'm here to do too. Like, you know,
Meat on the bone.
that's so, you know, collect your thoughts. Come back, unless it's a no-brainer, buy that card instantly. You can ask them like, it's $250. You take 2 and a quarter. If you know it's a good deal, $250. They say no, pay the $250. But say you want to pay $200, come back at it and say, look, man, I'm a collector. I'd love to get this card in my collection. You know, can you work with me here? Like, what's the best you could do? Just be professional, be polite. Again, can't say the same for the dealer. Dealer may not be a polite person. Maybe, you know, a complete standoff and yeah, I'm not budging. Like, you know, if the dealer's going to suck, he doesn't deserve your money. Yes, he may have a card you want. Somebody else will have that card you want. Go elsewhere in the room. Give the money to somebody else who you actually want to feel comfortable dealing with, not some jackass because he has a card you want. So I can't just stay like, there's two ways to this, because again, as you guys know, we are collectors. And my biggest thing is I always want to deal with a collector over anybody. I deal with flippers. I deal with repackagers. And I deal with some great people like that who I have no problem selling to. They pay me my number. We have a good agreement. Our relationship, our business relationship is great. But at the end of the day, I want to find that card into the hands of a true collector. That's my ultimate goal, because my goal is to get you to take that home so you maybe one day never sell that. Like, that's had his Corey Auto since 2010. His Kid Harrington for years. That's awesome to me. Like, that's what I want to see. Neil's had the Pools forever. It was gifted, but I still have things that I bought 10, 12 years ago. You know, I want to get my, for me, and again, this is speaking for us as dealers. We're not like every other dealer. I'm not saying we're different, but we are collectors, and I think there are a lot of dealers that are collectors, but you just got to deal with the ones that are willing to have their heart in the right place and not as much as their wallet and thinking about their money. You know, that's two ways to it. But I would say show respect. If they don't show respect back, give the old Stone Cold Steve Austin and then walk out and go back.
I just want to, before Ryan goes, I've dealt with Ryan on a couple different things. And if he knows, for the most part, I take my time. I think through the process.
Could be like 5 days of dealing with Joey on one car.
Right. I'll come back days later. I mean, that's what I'll do, even sometimes. But I'm making sure I have the right price in mind where I am and make sure it's good. Usually it is. But I always take my time on things, unless it's like a no-brainer. Like you said, it's just one of those things. I always have to consider, like, how rare it is, will I ever see it again, that kind of a thing, and it all works out in the end. But yeah, take your time. You don't even have to get it right there at that second. Also, do your research, like he says, look up comps. But also, if you go to a dealer thinking you're gonna get you're gonna tell them a price, and they're gonna say, "Yep, sold to you." It's usually not gonna happen. You just got to go in there a little more, be fair, because they got to make money too. If you don't, you got to realize that for every dealer though, they're not there to lose on everything. Will they lose on stuff that they held? Some of it, but
yeah,
the majority that they're putting out there, they need to make money on it. Otherwise, they ain't gonna do a
the expenses aren't cheap. That's the thing; they're not cheap to go do this show.
No.
But at the end of the day, I don't look at it from my perspective like I'm paying that money to be out there. I don't put that in my head. I do that like, hey, this is where I'm pricing it at. This is the budget we can do. And if we can't come to compromise, I can't do it because I can, no offense, easily take it back and sell it to my store, post it online, things like that. But I don't, it's right. They got to make money. Dealers got to make money, and they're spending a lot to be there. But they also need to be fair and not gouge prices because you paid all this money doesn't mean you need to be $120 in a car worth $80. I mean, plain and simple. So.
Pelican cases on your showcases. I wanted to ask that because that's something when I see these like card show videos, it takes the fuck out of me, and I would be on irate because it's like you just drop the fucker down and like bam, and you're not even necessarily doing it with you guys. You see somebody there that's also a possible customer for, like, let's say you guys, and somebody comes off to the side. And again, this is back to the decorum. How do you react to that? Because that's something that I would, like I said, I'd lose my shit like instantly.
They threw their case on my case.
Yeah, when they're sitting there, they put the case there.
No, my biggest thing is I'm pretty laid back, and most people I deal with at shows who have that, I would say 9 out of 10. Oh, that's one you got for me.
Yes.
Kenny Powers. Kenny stayed there. This would be the last question I can answer. I got the text.
Yep.
The kids. So, but and I'd love to chat for hours. This has been a great time. I want to say thank you guys for having us on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, send me a message when you get a chance with that one.
Yeah, I will for sure. And Steve, I love you. I miss you. And same with you, being all quite your beard. But so real quick, yeah. So 9 times out of 10, somebody respectfully will go, "Do you mind if I?" Because they're wanting to show me their cards. Do you mind if I sit this on your case? And every time I'm like, I don't mind. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate that. And then that's, but sometimes you get people that just slam it on there and like, look at my cards I'm selling. Or that's when I like, you gotta be respectful of the cases. But the cases are made to take a beating. I'll be honest. I mean, I just bought new ones. But yes, it's shockingly or not, most people, again, I don't want to say this because of where we live, but Midwest people, as Joey can attest, we actually, almost all you guys, not the East Coast, but like Midwest people are pretty like, hey, do you want, can I set this out? And that's where I'm relaying at is most times I do Midwest shows. I don't know. Maybe I'm in for something at Atlantic City. I don't know yet. But not saying any shot at Atlantic City, East Coast, West Coast, but Midwest people are just like completely different in most places. So and more laid back, I would say. I don't mean any disrespect, Ed. I wasn't trying to say it like that.
None taken.
Okay, but again, I could be embarking on something different next week, and I maybe we'll come back to that question after that. So maybe I'll be really irate at that crap by then. So, but
well, there you go. Hey, commitment.
Yeah.
After back to nationals,
let's do one after we get back. How about that? You guys want to do it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Again. So, well, I gotta go. I got the. Are you almost done? Like 10 minutes ago. Question marks didn't respond.
Yeah, the wife asked me when I ran to get that card.
Yeah. So, well, guys, it's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, guys.
I miss doing this. So, thanks for having us on. And yeah, big goals.
Anytime you guys want to come on and BS, we're here.
I'm in. We'll schedule it out. Let's do something after the national, all right?
Sounds good, my friends.
Hey guys, take care, everybody.
Hit me up because he won't. You know how he is.
I know.
Brains.
I'll go to the brains. I'll go to the brains.
There we go.
Yeah, hit him up because
But
he
here's
just
my-
goes Dave and he. I didn't know everybody else was gonna be here. He goes Dave and Joey. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll
Here's
get
my
Joey.
problem.
Let's go.
I don't have Neil's number. I only have Ryan's number.
Well, you didn't write Tyrone, so you didn't hit me up, so I didn't know. And next time I
Good seeing
come
you
down, I
guys.
want some yingling with you. All right.
Mm,
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Take care,
Take
guys.
care.
there you go.
It was definitely
Dave,
good.
it was like you were reading my mind with that last question, Dave. I was thinking it. I wanted to know, and you asked it.
And now I kept going through my mind while everybody else was talking. I'm like, fucking remember.
Do you remember
Then I a moment for a
security
5
guard?
minute for a 5 minute thing there. I was like, what the fuck would I wanted to ask him something. What was it? And I'm just like, I better remember because that's the one that always. And again, being the East Coast, I think it's going to be a little different. I think it's not the Midwest. Pie on the windowsill, pardon me, opening the door for somebody, thank you, ma'am. I think it's going to be a lot of gold chains, a lot of toothpicks. It's going to look like a Razor Ramon like lookalike day. So I'll ask you two because I know they're pulled beyond their like tightest cords. Getting footage there. Do you plan on doing it? And if so, I think I pretty much know what the percentage is. Like how high is that on your priority list when you go to a national? Not to go out there and be like, well, hey, I'm gonna sort of nudge my elbow into the influencing community just to have some footage, but it's just like, hey, this is what it's like. We talk about it ad nauseum, various venues, but just to show the common plebes that don't get the chance to go out there, or just like, man, it's a fuck ton of people. I don't want to be around that many people that most of the time don't know what a bar of soap or a stick of speed stick or right guard is. So I know that's always down in Texas. That's a permanent funk, especially when you go to your south about like an hour and a half to a specific ranch.
Not in my house.
That's why I said an hour and a half ish of south, I think, to the ranch of David.
Sorry, I actually had to mute because that was a definite laugh out loud moment. Sorry.
But how do you guys prioritize that? Because I know a lot of people have said in the past, as they lead up to like the national, it's like, I hope to get video footage. I want to get some video out there. I hope when I come back, like Ed had today or yesterday, like this is probably my last mail day before AC. So whatever I get is going to be lumped in with the post wrap up show. How much do you? Because again, folks say it. Hey, I want to get video, and then you just get swept up in the moment. You're like, oh, I'm on the floor. I want to take a video, but oh shit, there's something over. Is that a triple of? Who's that? 06 Darnless Classics. What? Huh? So you just, and that's for all of us. That would be any of us seeing something that we thought was remotely of what we're looking for. I want to get fit. Nope. Or like the trade nights, or like the YouTube get-togethers. I know that's more laid back, so you can do that. But there again, you just want to sort of, like Joey said earlier, you haven't seen these people maybe you haven't seen 2020 because that didn't go on. 2021 sort of hemming and hawing. So 2019, you're pushing 3 years for some. And that's like the people you usually see. Some of these people you may have connected with that you've never known. And so you're meeting them for the first time. So you want to not necessarily like, oh, I got to set up my camera so we can just record our like interactions, but you want to just have true, authentic conversation. You don't want to have it seem like it's a interview. So how do you sort of balance that in a very, very long-winded roundabout way?
I can just attest that I can't edit anything. I always assume I'm going to take some footage when I get there, and I never do because I'm swept. That whole week, it's chaos, managed chaos. You're trying to see everything, and I just, if I was more social media, like some people are that love that stuff, I can get around. I can do social media, just not do it well. Because if you see me post on Instagram, it's like I get lazy about it and I don't even do it. I'll eventually do it, but weeks later. So I mean, if someone loves that more, I'm hoping someone else can capture footage. But I go in with intentions to do that, and I just never do. I get swept up, just like you said, in the moment, and I got things to do. That the best, I think, was it yours, Ed, where you just set up the camera when we were at there, and we were just live, and that was it.
That was Mike O.
It was Mike O's camera.
Yeah.
That was about the easiest thing you could do because we didn't have to narrate or anything. We didn't have to do it. Just us being us. That's what it was, and surprisingly, people liked that. I was just like, wow, I couldn't. That was. When there's no really thinking to do with it, that would probably be the best way to go for me if I was going to do something like that. But yeah, there's people that love documenting things, and I think Dominus Infinitus, Ryan, might do that. Hopefully, I don't know. He's the one that did it last time. The first ever video I watched, he did most of that. That was the Cleveland show that I went for the first time in 2014. There's got to be someone that does it, that has interest in it. For me, it's just not that. On the priority list, it's way at the bottom. I think the only thing I've ever done is like recorded Everett opening certain boxes, or we recorded my first year open up 09 UD Black football. I think that's on my channel, but that's short, to the sweet, to the point. Done, but as far as putting together this is my experience at the National, it's just not my cup of tea, I guess. I don't know what Ed has ever planned, or I don't know, do you do videos, Ed, on that?
I don't. Well, last year I did a couple. Like I
Short
take
one.
a couple small clips with my phone,
Mhm.
like just of the show floor, or maybe of a particular showcase that I think's interesting. Or if I come across like a insanely priced card, like I'll take a picture of it. Like if I find something that's like, $100,000 or $200,000, I like to take a picture of it. For me, though, even before the phone, I would always like to, after I'm done the day at the National, I would go back to either my hotel room or wherever I'm staying and just do what I bought. Like talk about what I bought, just prop the camera down, like no editing, talk about what I bought, what did I pay, like what did I do, and what I did that day. And I just do that from a convenience standpoint because sometimes I'll forget things like down the line. Like if I waited till the end, like if I didn't do that and waited all the way just to do one video, there would be details that I would probably neglect or miss. So I just like to document the entire thing on, okay, I bought this from this dealer. I spent this money. I got this from a value box. I bought this from a showcase. I negotiated the price down a little bit, whatever. Like I like to keep all that in there. And then I would say last week I actually went back and was watching some of my older National recap videos. Like I went back to Cleveland, was watching some of those. Went back to AC, was watching some of those. But I like doing it from a convenience standpoint. And then I like to get the stuff put away and away, so I don't have to do a recap when I come home. Look, he's getting a new hat. Oh, doggo.
It's been a while, Ed. So I figured you'd want to see the pup.
There you go.
Nice new hat there, Vinny.
But there's people.
It suits you well.
But as far as vlogging anything, I really
Yeah, I don't vlog.
no.
Yeah.
By the end of the night and you're done with the show, if you're not exhausted, then you did something wrong with the show. So it's like the last thing that comes to my mind when I'm there. I'm just like, I want to see these people and have, not like I haven't been talking all day, but I want to see these people where we can just relax together, even though that Lowe's place was not relaxing. Chaos.
That was unbelievable.
You want to talk about you talk about the stuff that happened at the show that you just like it's unbelievable to you, and you know the stories like Ed will tell me about the crop dusting that was going on by him, or the guy that actually shit his pants. That that kind of stuff is in the evening where you have that's about his show. But as far as that, I just don't. I'm so wore out that we're talking cards and stuff, but most of the time I'm trying to get to know some people that I normally don't get to talk to a lot, or have not met at all, or just curious about some other people's collections and stuff like that. But it's just to document it all. Oh, I don't know.
By the way, sleep is important.
Yeah.
I remember a couple people tried telling me, "Oh, why are you going to sleep? Like, it's the national. You can sleep the following week." Like, dude, I need my sleep. I don't know about you, but if I'm running on like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, I'm not going to be able to function properly. Like the 2019, when I first flew, the first time I ever flown on a flight, like I did not really sleep too good the night before. And that Thursday when we came in, I went the entire day at the show, straight from the airport to the show, was there the entire day, picked up stuff, bought stuff, had a great time, get back to the room, set up all my stuff, and go down in the lobby, and all of a sudden it like hits you like a train. Like I was a zombie. Like I'm like drooping, I'm like falling asleep, I'm having a hard time talking to people, and I'm like, I don't want to go to like there was a couple after parties, and I'm like, I don't want to go because like I'm not functioning right. Like I need sleep. Like, and I don't want to go and like not talk to people and act like a dick. And people are like, why is he not talking to anyone? Well, it's because like I'm insanely tired. I need to sleep. And I wind up going to bed, I think at like 8:00 that night. And I slept for 13, 14 hours,
Wow.
I think it was. And then apparently Mike O said that Bob Lewis came into the room and threw junk wax packs at me or something at my unconscious body. Allegedly.
If I'm gonna go to sleep, I gotta sleep before Everett goes to sleep, because Everett is a chainsaw. Yeah.
Snore?
So if I don't go to sleep before he does, I'm done.
But once you get that sleep, you're totally refreshed.
Oh yeah.
And you're ready to make good deals only.
Good. All right.
Got to stay on brand.
I've heard the thing is, we're making fun of that, but I've heard that like a million times, like at the national. You're like, okay.
I think that the top 4. Well, we joke about it, but I'll probably play a game at the national, and how many times I hear the following phrases:
Oh,
let's go.
Oh, let's go.
Good deals only. Meat on the bone.
Oh, okay.
Definitely meat on the bone. That one is getting real popular. Appreciate you, bro.
Or that's tough. That's tough. Like if it's a tough pull, that's tough.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yep. And I'm going to try to bring in schmedium.
That's more visual than spoken.
But I think appreciate you, bro. Will be there. I was by a group where these young guys were, let's go, after they picked up like $100 auto, you're like, let's, and I was just like, what are they going off on?
Fire. That's going to be one that you'll hear.
Oh, fire. Yeah.
Everything is not fire. And so, all right, for the panel, this is for the entire panel, and I'll even throw it to those who are still watching because we actually still got a pretty solid group. Who wants to take the over-under for, and this has to do with y'all's experience in interactions or hearing conversations. So you'll have to be truthful when you come back. What's going to be the over-under for people using the wrong nomenclature when describing a card?
What's the line? Over on is it? If I
Who wants to set the line?
over
Somebody can set the line. Somebody can set the line.
Set the line.
Who's going to want to?
I don't even know. I gotta consult Vegas for the odds makers on this to set a line.
Oh, come on, Ed. Come on.
It's if you like set the line at like overhearing people over 100, I'm still going over.
So I'm going to say, and this is personal experience only, so it could be different for either one of you. So let's say we'll set it at 75.
Oh, over.
Casual conversation, dealer overhearing conversation. This includes dealers listing shit with the incorrect nomenclature. This is conversation, piece, whatever, everything. We're going to set the line at 75.
If we're going to trade nights, it's definitely going to be over.
Over. Just wait till you're like, they're going to say like this card's an SSP, and you're like, no, it's not. It's not going to be. It's
going to be a refractor, but yet it's a hollow or something. Everybody's like over, no matter what the number is.
If I don't know, I don't say anything. I call this man, and he tells me what it is. I had a question last year. I'm like, I need to phone a friend because I don't know.
But that's the whole, that's the whole premise of why we do this and why we talk about things. It's, yes, all of us combined know a lot of information, but we don't know everything. And I know Dave well enough to where if Dave doesn't have the answer, he's probably got a list of people he can reach out to, though, and validate or get confirmation. Same thing with me. Same thing with Vinny. Ed, anybody in which you have interactions with that you were close with and feel like you have a relationship with, bottom line is we all don't know everything. Use your resources. Nobody's going to think any less of you because you reach out and ask a question. There are people out there that are going to be dickish. Let's be real. Those people exist. But for the most part, those people you interact with aren't going to be dicks. So you can trust their judgment in the event that you need to reach out and pose a question.
Maybe Dave's telephone book has the answer. Dave, show us the telephone book again.
You still have one, Dave?
There it is.
Yeah,
the answers lie within.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just got that because that's because of the score stuff, wasn't it, Dave? Mm-hmm. And that one of the main reasons.
The 12th edition.
There's more than one? I thought.
Yeah.
See,
unmute yourself, Dave.
Dave is the almanac of everything that I. He's always had the answer, and I don't know if he's ever gone to that almanac for the answer, but maybe he has.
The best thing about the National, too, that no one talks about, the amazing opportunities for comedy. Can you imagine doing a skit and Dave be at the National with his telephone book going around being like, excuse me, can I get it for this price? And just like trolling and stuff. That'd be hilarious.
The one who would walk up to the dealer's table and say, That's not a fucking refractor. What
Um,
are you doing? That's
ever-
wrong.
if you ever wanted to buy at that table from that point on, it's probably not going to happen then. So there's no, you don't want to do that. I mean, I've been on the floor and I found just last year 2 fake Bart Starr autos. I don't say a word. I want to, but I mean, but if I ever want to make a deal there again, I just don't say anything. You don't.
For something like that, and Joey, I'm kind of glad you kind of brought that up, because in my opinion, that is a very complex situation to be in. Because as a collector, to a degree, you almost feel obligated to say something. Whether or not they do something is out of your control. But to protect another collector, you almost feel like you're obligated to say, hey, I don't know where you acquired this. I just want you to know that this is fake.
Yeah. The problem is that, like I said, if I ever, I've done that. Bart Starr has a lot of fakes. There's a lot more fakes than has come up through the years. And I've seen people post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I tell them there if their autograph is a fake. And what I get normally, and it's weird because they take it out on me. They get mad at me.
Of course they do.
And it's just like, why am I doing this? I'm trying to help you out, but you're getting mad at me for. So I kind of stopped doing it because I was tired of the backlash I would get from it. I'm not trying to like piss in your Cheerios. It's just not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell you that the card that you bought is a fake, and if there's a recourse, like if you just got it from eBay, you can return it. I did that, and you guys, I don't know, but Scotty Tradition, one of the first interactions we had together, he bought a fake Ice Bowl card, the Topps Finest Moments. And I says, hey, I hate to tell you that you just bought a $500 fake. And he didn't take it that way. He didn't take it like coming back at me and say he wanted to ask questions why and what was going on. That's the kind of thing that you hope to hear from someone, but I usually don't get that.
Yeah, but
what you're talking about, I'm just like, okay, it's
from
an authentic autograph right here. It has a sticker on it. Yeah, it's still fake.
From a dealer perspective, that's an integrity hit. And if you put yourself on the other side of the table per se, most people are automatically going to be offended because you just attack their integrity. The difference is you're not doing it to be a dick. You're trying to let them know, hey, it's unfortunate, but you're gonna be selling a fake.
I've gone. I just to interrupt this, but I've gone to the extent of even going to the grading company through Beckett and PSA that they passed these fakes, and I says I don't know a whole lot on this planet, but here's one thing I'm an expert at: is this autograph, and you are passing fakes. And I show them pictures of it. PSA brushed me off. They said, you don't know what you're talking about. Beckett actually listened to me. Have they passed fakes since? Absolutely. Still, I think they just did it to appease me. But I don't want people buying fakes. I don't want to have some. The reason why is because I got duped in the past from a Bart Starr autograph because I didn't do my research, and I didn't want that to happen to anybody else.
Well, in their eyes, you're a peon, unfortunately, Joey, and that's the unfortunate aspect.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, since you've been a Bart Starr guy, and I'm pretty sure it's the right name, but I'm sure you follow, is it Chuck Master?
Oh,
on Instagram.
No, I don't.
Okay, and if they're personal reasons, whatever, we're not going to get into detail. But I know he posts quite a bit in relation to fake Bart Starr autos.
Mm-hmm.
almost every one of his posts as of late has to do with fakes. So it's one of those in which you're not the only one out there that's trying to bring light to the excessive amount of fakes that are coming specifically for like your player. Hello, Michael. I wasn't expecting to see you pop in here.
Has done the same thing though. He started he did a showcase just on the Bart Star, a couple of the Bart Star fakes actually. So there are people trying, but
yeah, and that's the thing. It's all about trying to educate and trying to bring light to these situations. And in this situation, the only thing that I think is going to help rectify it is power in numbers. And sometimes it's going to have to take somebody with some hobby clout in order to bring it to light to where maybe more things get rectified, whether it be card porn or, getting it right in front of freaking Nat Turner or, some of these other big guys to where it's like, hey guys, Houston, we have a problem here. What are we going to do to fix it? Type situation in order for it to make a difference.
I was just talking with Michael about that. What did we have that fake patch? Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Truthfully, it's not worth time most time because people get defensive.
I
had to break some bad news to somebody today that had a Reggie White patch auto that had the Tennessee Titans Reggie White signature on it.
You were just 2 hours ahead of me. That's all. Because I was ready to post the same thing. I'm like, should I? That's a bad card. That's like a 30-cent card.
Yeah, that killed that card because I mean, if it actually did have Reggie's signature on there, it's like a $1,200 card.
Absolutely. So someone got ripped off.
The hope is it doesn't sting as much because they bought a big giant collection with a lot of great cards, and that Reggie was probably maybe in the top 10 of it. So maybe they're not going to hurt too bad on it, but it still amazes me how people that spend that kind of money don't know the very famous fakes. It's very shocking to me.
I was naive until you pointed out the blow up form on the Bart Star stuff. I had one. You're the one that told me that this is fake. I'm like, no kidding. And then you showed me the forum, and then I read that thing is miles long.
Yeah, and
then I decided I'm not going to buy anything willy-nilly anymore. I'm going to know what I'm buying from now on. And it didn't let it happen again. I learned from that mistake.
And just a good rule of thumb on that specific Upper Deck Legend set is if the signature isn't bubbled a little bit, it's probably a fake.
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of the players.
I've seen one in the last year's National that was a 9.510 Beckett. And that didn't have very much bubble, but it was absolutely real.
Yeah.
It's the first one I ever seen. I actually took it out. I said, can I take this out of the case? This is amazing.
Yeah.
To not have a bubble on this autograph.
I mean, I've seen fake TD autos. So it's when you collect somebody extensively, there's a lot of times in which you can pick them out fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis has 3 versions. So, he's changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And,
small compact auto, is that what I'm thinking? I'm trying to remember what I have.
So his early stuff is more drawn out and it's more legible. The newer stuff is a lot more compact. And then of course, every once in a while he does the 30 inscription. Yeah. But I could pick out a Terrell Davis fake autograph a mile away just because I have so many and I've seen so many. And typically what you see, that is 100% on point.
Yeah, I remember the small compact.
Yep. That is 100% on point. But, on the flip side, usually the fakes that you see with Terrell Davis are like in person, quote unquote, in person stuff.
Yeah.
And, It's very easy to spot. So, but anyways, back to the subject real quick. Ed needs to drop here in a little bit. Any
Yep.
other national stuff, Dave, that you wanted to pose like for Ed before he has to run?
Ed, what's one thing you're going to tell everybody at the National this year?
The Insert Revolution podcast is on every Tuesday night at 8:00.
That wasn't spoken between us, so he knows the plan.
That's 8:35 ish.
Either square.
Got to keep the ish. On point, on brand, Ed. Come on.
Yes.
You said it earlier.
Yes.
You should have gave us merch to give to people.
That still requires a ton of effort. The logo is there. We're good there. But
Yep. In the top corner.
Yep. And
I should have got a bumper sticker so I could put it on the AC boardwalk so it could be there for eternity.
Should have got a handful of them, put it on everybody's Pelican case.
Yes.
we don't want that kind of advertisement, Dave.
Well, people will be like, "What the hell is this?" Somebody will find it that's useful. I gotta. Or you could put it like on the back of some of these rotund figures, and like it's a wide load.
Put it on the tops wall. Take a card, leave a card, but put a sticker on on the card.
Put it over floating head's mouth.
That works.
Jesus, that's worse than putting it in the AC Convention Center bathroom. Putting it on the door. Although a lot of people will probably roll in there.
Use the stickers to patch the glory holes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael, for the visual.
You're welcome.
Oh my God.
I want to say, thankfully, I've never had to use a national bathroom. Not yet. Knock on wood.
Same.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't know
No,
what the inside of the
thankfully.
Chicago Convention Center bathrooms look like.
It's
No,
bad.
I was gonna
The only
say, I
one I
don't-
tolerate was Cleveland's. But I still, if I gotta go, I'm going. I'm not going walking back to the hotel.
I'll hold it for the
especially-
bathroom. I mean, for the hotel.
Yeah, I'll say for the hotel too.
We're 2.5. We're at Harrah's, so we're 2.5 miles away from the convention center. So there's no. I'm going. Of course, I'm a mailman. I don't have any. I'm going in public bathrooms all of my life. That's my whole entire life. So I don't really care.
I imagine you're going to see people using the sidewalks and boardwalk as toilets while you're out there.
It's not
That's
like
not a
we're
good visual.
if we're in
No.
Newark, it'd be a given. It'd be like it's like the American pastime to shit on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
This is at least a little better. It's not like Gary, Indiana, where you
It's
don't
still
feel
New
safe.
Jersey. It's still New Jersey. I mean, you're.
Like I said, I saw my first hobo fight there last time I was there.
Oh, there'll be more. There'll be more hobo fights. They're aggressive on the boardwalk. You
In a
you were
parking
tell-
garage of
were
Caesar.
mentioning walking the boardwalk late at night. I'm like, no
Yeah.
wonder why you saw a hobo fight.
Yeah, I cringed when he said that. I'm like, goo.
That's why you saw a hobo fight, man. I'm like, you do not want to
No.
walk the boardwalk late at night.
No, this was actually in Caesar's parking garage. I had to run back to the hotel to get my Lombardi cut because I was gonna grade it at that Atlantic City National, and I did. So I was down. I'm like, I'm gonna go there and come back, and there's two guys duking it out in the bottom of this parking garage. I'm like, the police show up. I'm like, I'm gonna go this way.
Did you throw a 5? Winner gets the 5.
You
You
could
could do that.
I think it would have been that just as good.
Well,
And-
with that, I think that's a good stopping point for me. Hobo fights.
Ed,
Yes.
do you think there will be a table outside of the bathrooms and a representation from Dude Wipes?
Maybe. Probably. I would think so. It's a good business opportunity for Dude Wipes.
It's fucking gold.
I would just load up a backpack with travel deodorants and sell them for $5 a pop.
Oh my god! I would give them away to some people. Just like, dude, have you ever seen this before? Right? This is what this is. Don't
Or Febreze. Febreze would be good.
Yeah, just
Okay.
spray.
Walk through the show, and as you walk by them, just start spraying them.
I might even bring a can of Febreze with me this year because when I walked into that chemical minefield last year, that was bad.
We laugh about it now, but when it happens to you, you'll be like, I wish I had that Febreze right now. Because it's going to happen. It will happen.
And it's not good.
PSA might grade the deodorant.
Obviously, not good grade because it ain't working.
No.
Only Gem Mint 10 deodorants here. Please.
Do they go negative on grades?
For the love of God.
Bet you they
All right.
Smell -10.
Yeah.
All right. Next time I'm on here, I will update you if I saw any hobo fights on the boardwalk.
Yeah, I'm going to be down there. So
Pretend a musician's playing. Throw a 5 on the ground.
I
Throw
think
Luca Prism. See what happens.
Hashtag encouragement.
Sounds good.
Ben,
All right.
Alrighty, Ed.
boardwalk and
Right,
he
Ed.
had a
Have
bunch
a good one, fellas.
of money.
Good
too.
deals only, y'all.
Good to see you.
Later, Ed.
Later.
And then there were five.
I guess I've come a long way if I can walk the boardwalk and not feel like I'm a small town guy. I didn't feel like I was like in danger at any point.
That was also pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So I think those places have gotten quite a bit more dangerous.
Well,
Only one way to find out.
if I come back, I did okay.
Get your hobo stab insurance.
Yeah. Make sure you got a shank with you.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I don't think they're gonna let me take any shanks on the flight. I'll have to make it at the hotel.
You're
Yes.
gonna be in New Jersey. No, you'll be in New Jersey, Joey. There's gonna be fucking shanks like every 10 feet. Some kid's gonna be selling them at some table.
Buy one at the duty free shop. At the,
It's a shank stand.
buy one at the airport when you get in.
Yeah, right through
Oh,
security.
yeah. It probably have a little stand right outside. You're in Philly now. You need a shank.
Yeah. Buy one, get one.
Why would you get free? All right. BOGO it.
Oh well.
This was a quick 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, we got a good dealer's perspective, which a lot of people don't get to hear a whole lot.
And that's why I didn't send you the link, Michael. I wanted to get more like Ryan because that was something you hear a lot of dealers say it in. Don't say in jest, but they want to be positive. They want to be like, "Oh, it's a great time, everybody." Blah. No, I want to hear an experienced dealer, someone that's been there well before the boom in 2016 with Dak and Zeke and the uptrend, and then through COVID, and now on the other side of it. It's like I want to hear that perspective, just because it's not out there, at least that I've seen, and somebody from a dealer that's been there for over a decade.
Right.
So,
like
next
they
week-
said, they have grown so much in that time. It's unreal.
And that's half the problem, though, because they're so busy now that they don't have as much time as they spent with us before. That's the tough part. Last year, I didn't spend very much, if at all, with either Ryan or Neil. One of my favorite memories is sitting the Chicago beforehand, which would have been, 2017? I sat with Neil and we were just putting cards back, and I was just helping him out. And we just sat there and shot the shit for like half hour, 45 minutes. And he might not remember it, but I sure damn do. You know that, but you couldn't get close to him last year. Like I was trying to, I mentioned to Ed that they had their own security guard there last year. It was weird. It's, you know.
Well, I mean, I can't even imagine what the crowds looked like last year.
It was,
and
I
imagine it was probably 3 to 5 people deep around every booth.
It was my least favorite national I've ever been to, by far, because you just couldn't see anything. Yeah. It was standing in line at an amusement park. If you want, you had to wait to make your turn to get up to close enough to see what was at the case.
Yeah.
It was, if it's going to be like that this year, I'm going to have a lot less interest in just standing there doing that.
Well, you'll have a lot more locals at this one. There's a lot of people that don't travel to the Atlantic City one.
Yeah, I guess I'm missing the old days where you can actually move around.
Yeah,
it's if you're coming to Chicago next year, Michael,
yeah, I will be. I plan on being there, but I likely won't look in I'll look in display case and everything, but I'm going to make it a point to go through the bargain boxes because that's where I'm going to find Clay Matthews to fill holes in my rainbows.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to have his stuff in the cases his super high-end stuff there, that'll be in the cases, and people will let me know where those are. I won't need to go find them myself. But I would like to actually make a trip out to Burbank to go through. I want to go out there so bad just so I can go through the Clay Matthews stuff because they don't list it on eBay anymore.
It's all on Beckett pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Bulk of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they 25 plus million cards on Beckett.com.
Oh, that's news to me. I didn't even know Beckett was still a thing.
Oh yeah.
I bought some
no
stuff
kidding.
Years ago.
Oh yeah. That's where the bulk of their stuff is.
Okay.
And so they only post stuff to eBay that qualifies basically for like the 99-cent type rule. Anything lower than that, it'll be on Beckett.com.
Okay. I need to go check that out then.
I'd like to go too, but I would like to confront Mr. Cardfather and tell him exactly what I think about how much of a piece of shit he is, but that's just me.
Well, that's like I mentioned earlier about J-Man. That guy, he is...
You love attitude? Go to
that guy is such a dick. He never looks up. He won't. You walk up to his booth and say, "Hey, how's it going?" Dude does not look up from his phone.
No.
And then when you ask him a price on a card, he flips it over, and it's 2 to 3 times what it would comp at anywhere.
Yeah.
And he does not deal on any of it.
Nope.
Bob Wilkie will tell you that. Because he even had me go to the guy's table to try to get prices on things to see if he would give any kind of different price. And no. But he has his eBay store. He has he's had a few Clay Matthews over the years that like there's a totally certified black 101 auto on there. It's been on there for minimum 5 years at $299.99. That's just what the price is. There's no best offer, and it's been sitting there for over 5 years.
Oh, it's such a nice card too.
Yeah, but man,
for $300 for that? Oh,
and because of who it is, I wouldn't give $150 for it. Just because I don't like the guy.
Yeah. That's the. It's not always that case though, but there's some. I've met a dealer. One of my first national in Cleveland in 2014, and this guy put this. It was a newer set coming on. I can't remember exactly, but it was a Roger Staubach card. It didn't have a price on it because he just picked it up from somebody else. I says, "What do you want on the Staubach?" I don't know. Make me an offer. I'm like, it's your card. You gotta give me a base on it. Give me a line to start from.
Yeah.
I'll come back later. I'm like, no. See you later. I'm like, I didn't.
Oh, it's on me. I'll give you $85.
That's. I mean, I could have,
Yeah.
that, but I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm not offering. The one thing that irritates me most is someone says, especially like through social media, PM me for price or make an offer without any price to come from.
Yeah.
No, I don't care if that thing is made of gold. I ain't buying it from you.
Yeah.
It's an insult to me. You're taking me to be a chump. I'm not going to be that. I know
Most people who are willing to sell something ought to have an idea of what they're willing to take for a card. At
Exactly.
least that's the starting point.
some kind. If it's something super like a 1-1, I've done deals where like the guy's like, I don't know what to sell. What are you thinking on this one? And we'll work out something together. But if it's something that's common there, where it's not, not common, but it should have a particular price point. Just it shouldn't be a big deal. I should be paying at that time a Roger Staubach auto, what, $150 maybe?
Depends on the product.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but it was something that was just brand new at the time. And I just got that runaround. You're like, oh man, is this what the National's going to be? That was like one of my first experiences. But it was a different time because that's the year me and Everett in 2014, he went and found as much Tom Brady as he could find. He got like, I'm going to say 7 or 8 or even 9 Tom Brady autos that year for under $1,000. Well, I mean, under $1,500 that year. And all those cards are like $10,000 now or something like that. Just weird. The Randy Moss Tom Brady duel from Finest. Is it Finest? $400 he paid for it?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now, but it's, I don't know, $5K? I don't know.
I would imagine it's 3,500 and up.
I just don't know. But he has all that. I remember even not too long ago that he traded like $2,000 worth of like non-PC stuff and got a Brady. What is it? I think it's an 8 or an 859. Could be wrong for like $2,000. I don't know what Brady 8.5s are doing now. Rookies, they're obviously a rookie, rookie auto.
Yeah,
Tenders.
Up there.
I don't know what they are now.
I think they're around
90,000.
They're around 10 grand.
Well, he's been really fortunate. Like he traded the Topps Chrome Mini.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers Superfractor for the Tom Brady Superfractor Topps Chrome Mini. Same year and everything. So I says, Everett, bring your Brady Superfractor, bring it to the National that one year. And I says, let me look it over because I looked over a lot of these cards before. We went and graded at BGS and the thing got a 9.5. Is the Aaron Rodgers going to pull the Tom Brady number now? Probably not.
No.
But still, it's still either, I was going to buy the Aaron Rodgers from him, but he says, well, I got someone going to offer me the Tom Brady straight up for it. I'm like, go ahead and do it.
Nope.
He's got that entire rainbow too, Michael. He's got the red and the black and everything.
Back when it was affordable.
Oh, for pennies.
Back when it was affordable.
I can't imagine what that rainbow would sell for today.
Stupid money.
Yep.
He's been
Very
offered.
stupid.
He was telling me about a card that I'm like, I can't remember what card it was, but he right after his dad passed, he called me and said he was considering selling this one Brady. I'm like, well, you're gonna make like 1,000,000% on it. If someone was gonna tell me that I was gonna make $50,000 or $60,000 one of my Bart Starr autos, I'd be like, I'll find another one sometime. I'll sell one like that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, go buy a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him because I don't know what he's gonna bring. he's driving, he might have a stack. He might have a trunk full of cards.
Well, last time we were on here, I said I was waiting on a couple cards to come in, and they did come in. And this was one of them.
I owned that at one point.
Yep.
It did the
08 Topps Mayo Mini Auto Red Ink 4 out of 10 of Sterling Sharp. I owned this card once before as well.
You owned it. You got it to me. I bought it from you.
And then this is the other one. I absolutely love this card. Panini crushed this insert.
That is, spectacular.
They're beautiful. And it's kind of hard to see on here, but it's called the Splitting Image set. And one side of his face is in sepia and the other is in color. But these cards, it's interesting because when I bought this one, there was a string of about 10 or 12 of them that had sold within a week to 10 days of each other. And since I bought that one, there's only been one on eBay. They've kind of dried up. And the parallels, people are paying stupid money for. There's one of the ones out of 25 sold for nearly $200. And that doesn't happen with non-auto stuff anymore, especially of the vets. But I paid strong on this one just because I just thought it was the coolest thing that Panini had done in a long time. And I paid $55 for that card. And it's just because I thought it looked awesome.
What about the one package you're missing? Anything on that?
I haven't gotten an update on that. I opened that on July 5th. I'm assuming that the Postal Service is literally going to do nothing and not get it. They're going to wait for me to contact them, and then they'll just tell me, oh, yeah, you're fucked. It's gone.
If it's been this long, every day that goes by, the percentage will go down.
Oh, yeah. The last time it was scanned was June 17th. So we're over a month now.
That's disheartening. At least, like I told you, at least it wasn't one of your Clay Matthews, and it wasn't.
No, but it was a very nice Jim Taylor on-card auto.
Yeah. It'll be on. If it got lost and recovered, they're not going to know
it's funny because I bought it from the same guy I bought this from, and this came in 3 days with him shipping it. It got to me in 3 days, and the other one's just gone. That sucks.
You had it happen before, though, so you know the process of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, they located your.
Well, the difference is there was the thing kept getting scanned and going out for delivery in the wrong town, and I had to get them to stop doing that. Oh, this is a different thing where it says it departed the facility and it's never scanned since.
Well, what normally happens in something like this is that the package probably got ripped open through processing, and it's on the floor somewhere in some distribution center. And what they're going to do is someone finds it at one point, it's going to just go sit on a pallet and be sold at auction. Because there's no way. Unless you have if it had numbering on it, even then.
Yeah, and it wasn't serial numbered.
No, what's going to happen is, and there's been horror stories on this stuff because it goes to a plant and they have it on a pallet. If they find it.
Yeah.
It goes on a pallet, and this pallet goes up for auction for the public to buy. And you might see the card again. It might be the same exact one up on eBay because someone bought it for pennies on the dollar from the Postal Service.
I had that happen with at a Topps Fire. It would have been 2014, and it was a dual autograph of Devontae Adams and Eddie Lacy that I had sold, and it got lost in transit, and it popped up on eBay and contacted the guy who was selling it, and that's exactly how he got it. He bought it from a pallet auction from the Postal Service.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep.
I mean, I've never had it personally happen to me, but I don't like your post offices down there. Every time my stuff, when I send something to you, it gets caught up in Kansas City.
Well, it's because the frustrating thing is there's a Kansas City, Missouri facility and a Kansas City, Kansas facility, and they think that each package has to go through both of them.
I know.
It's super frustrating.
Yep. I dread because when I send you stuff, it gets there really fast. But when you send me stuff, it gets stopped in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, the Missouri one, if you see a package and it goes to the Kansas City, Missouri one, you know it's going to be there for minimum 24 hours before they send it to the Kansas City, Kansas one.
It's just a pain in the ass. You know?
And did they shut down the Highland Park, Illinois one? Because I don't have anything go through there ever anymore, and that was the one that was notorious for holding things forever, and that's where everything got stolen.
It goes through regular Chicago by the airport, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a nightmare.
I did get that in too.
The Nitschke.
Typically, I don't buy anything smaller than 16 by 20 for my walls, but this was an 11 by 14 of an image that you just rarely see of him.
Because you're talking
I absolutely love it.
The patch on the shoulder.
Yeah, patch on the shoulder is so cool. And then look at his hands.
He's always like that.
I know. It's so cool.
He's a monster. He was just, it's the way they played back then.
I got that thing cheap.
Well, back then they could head slap, and that's what he did all the time. That's why they had to put the stuff on their hands.
Yeah, him and Deacon Jones.
Yeah, they'd hit each other. They hit helmets all the time. And you hit someone in the head, they can't see.
No, you disorient them.
That's what you got to, it was a different era.
That it was. All right, Dave. 2:15. I think we could tie a bow.
That we can, as the police are coming for us.
Oh.
No, that's the
ambulance.
That's the fire department.
Oh,
we have two fire departments right outside our subdivision. So, and
that's fire.
Well, this is US 380, so it's a major highway. In there, historically it's always been on the top 10 most deadliest highways in the country.
Yeah, the fire department and the hospital are pretty close location to where I live, so I hear sirens all the time.
Are the sirens better than the airplanes that you had at the base?
No, I'd rather hear the airplanes only because I got so used to them, but also because usually whenever I hear the sirens or anything, it's usually after I hear gunshots.
Well,
so I'll take the airplanes. Plus, being around them so much, I could always tell when they were actually loaded up with weapons and going to fuck up somebody's world.
After a while, I know you could tell, well, that's a certain plane because you've heard that engine like a million times.
Yeah, and they only have so many planes that come through here, but you can tell when a B-2 takes off and whether it's got a payload or not.
Mm.
And you're like, oh, they're going to be flying halfway across the world to ruin something.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Yeah. Yep. By the time you know they're there, the payload's already been dropped and it's going to be there any second.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
well, thank you for Ed, Joey, Michael, Neil, and Ryan from RBI Crew. Everybody joining us tonight. Just try to give you different perspectives. You hear all the same perspectives in these national videos. Just hoping that Brian and Neil would should come on, and again, I always get Joey's stories, I always get Ed's stories. Just we all have stories from the national, good, bad, indifferent ones. You probably want to long forget. Probably ones that the cards that got away, and you just said, "Fuck, I should have just pulled the trigger on and got it." But I mean, everybody's got the stories, and the big thing is go at least once.
Yes.
And what Ryan and Neil said about decorum, it's basically boils down to treat others how you want to be treated. If you work in the used car thing and you're like the snake oil salesman, guess what? Nobody's going to be real excited about dealing with you at the show.
Yeah, and so many of the young generation, they don't have social skills because they've lived their entire life on screens. Exactly. They don't understand how to talk to people in real life.
That's my comedy at the national. You're like, look, he's like talking. He's like not even looking him in the eye. You're like, looking at the ground.
Here's I don't know if Jesus.
Too bright.
You see that, Dave?
Ah!
Oh,
Wow!
I owned that card
I
when
know
it was.
it.
I owned it raw 2 different times and sold it for $100 each time.
No way.
Yeah. Just sold for over $3,400. And the crazy thing is, everybody that's owned it, nobody thought it was grade worthy because it had kind of the Panini chip on the back bottom border.
Oh, it's right.
There's a little bit of something there where you really didn't think it was going to get much over an 8 on edges. And somehow, I mean, it got a 9.5. So somebody must have finessed it a little bit. But yeah, that card is the big horror story for me. And it's just kind of if you own something of one of the best players, if you own a key card of them, maybe don't sell it. Because I mean, the jersey numbered true rookie of Aaron Donald from National Treasures, it's one of his best cards.
You sold it twice, or who did you sell to each time? Do you remember?
One time I sold it to Tyson Magdorn.
Oh yeah,
I sold it to him and got it back, and then I sold it to Harry Potter.
Oh
yeah, Potter. I sold it to him. And that was at the show. I sold it to him at the show where I found Dave's Josh Johnson Superfractor.
Oh.
It was at one of the Machinist Hall shows. Yeah, that one.
Wow.
Of all the random cards to be in a showcase at a show in St. Louis.
It was in a showcase. That's the thing about it.
Yeah. Yep.
You didn't have to dig to find it. It was in a showcase.
Yeah, I did not. I saw it, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I can't believe that thing's actually here. I was like, that's too cool. So I didn't even contact Dave to see if Dave wanted to buy it. I bought it and sent it to him. But I couldn't send it to him as a surprise. I had to take pictures and send it to him. Dude, can you believe what I freaking found?
Because
you called a couple times and I was at work.
Yeah.
And then the pictures came in and I'm like, the fuck is this? What?
Yeah.
The holy fucking grail. That's what
it was.
Just like,
that's the cool.
Like,
that's the coolest thing I found at a show.
That was fucking stupid. Usually it's like, oh yeah, I found a couple like an SPX rookie auto to $9.99 or something else, some other like,
or like number. One of the multi-signatures with Verlander or somebody like that. You'll see that kind of stuff.
But yeah, nothing him solo.
A super fractor.
Yeah.
Graded.
That's
And rookie year too. So I mean,
yeah, with the weird cartoon rookie card logo on it.
yeah, the debut of that gem.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
Say the least.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because throughout this this podcast here, I've gotten numerous messages like there's something going on. I don't. I had Luke messaging me, and I had James Gryden messaging me. So there's something happening that I might have to have my attention drawn to in a minute. I don't know.
For what?
I don't know. If James Grimes is messaging me and a link to something, and Luke is messaging me this late, something's going on.
Huh.
It's usually good, but I don't know.
Maybe they found you something.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
That was the first national I went to. I had a bunch of money saved up to go to it, and literally the week before, I spent it all because a Reggie White auto came available, and there were a couple other cards that I'm like, well, these are the cards I'm going there to look for, so just buy them now and then just go hang out at the show. While that was nice to have those cards, that first year of national was a little stressful for me because at that time I didn't make very much money, and I went to Chicago with essentially $300 to get through the weekend.
Wow.
So I bought nothing as far as cards was concerned. It was all spent on food and parking.
Yeah.
That was my biggest mistake going to a national, was not taking enough money. Now every time I go, I usually take $1,000 to $1,500, and I very rarely spend it on cards. I usually come home with the majority of it.
I bring $2K. I normally don't go through all of it. That's just the cash I bring, but it's a different kind of a national. I think now you could probably pay through credit card or PayPal through a lot of stuff. I mean, I've seen a lot of that happen last year.
Yeah, I didn't pay in cash at the last one I went to in Chicago in 19. I paid through PayPal.
The thing is, cash is king.
Yeah, but PayPal friends and family is the same thing.
Right. And the biggest deal I had to do was getting Luke that Tom Brady auto. I'm the middleman of this whole damn thing, trying to negotiate a deal for someone that wants the card.
Yeah.
It's not me. So trying like, yes, this is his PayPal. We got to, is it going to go? I couldn't leave the booth with anything until that's weird. But that was, boy, what did he make out on that?
Yeah. Now that card's like $7,000.
Yeah. And I think he paid at the time, I think, $1,000 or $1,200.
Yeah, it was $1,000 or $1,200. Yeah, it was.
It wasn't more than that.
No.
So, and I thought that was a big deal. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and
now, have you decided what you're going to do with that NFL 100 set?
I kind of do. It's
Are you going to keep building it and just not have Brady?
So far.
Yeah.
The what I'm going to do with it is it's just going to be my backup kind of a set. The priority goes way down the line on it. It's still nice to have, but and I was talking in my last video, which I made like last night or the day before. If Fanatics takes over and still does our Spectra Hall of Fame set, I don't know if they are or not. I don't know what they're going to do. Because whenever Tom Brady finally says this is it, 5 years later he's in the Hall of Fame. If my Spectra Hall of Fame set needs a Brady in it, that NFL 100 set is gone to pay for that. If not, because that's the one that's the second priority in my collecting is the Spectra Hall of Fame set being complete as possible.
Yeah.
still really awesome, the NFL 100 set, and it has a lot of popularity, which all of a sudden took off on me. Even I couldn't believe what I'm paying for some of these cards, but it seems like that every time I hook onto something, I get onto it early and it's cheap, and then it goes crazy. The Spectra Hall of Fame set cards, I think a Jim Brown went for like $800 or $900.
Yeah, Jim Brown stuff has been one of the biggest. It's gotten the biggest bump over the last 2 years. Jim Brown sells for massive amounts of money, and he used to not be a terribly expensive autograph.
Oh, I think I got it for $130. You know?
Yeah, and I think majority of Jim Brown stuff now is all 200 and up.
Oh, guaranteed. At the last national, that was the hottest card in the room. Any Jim Brown autograph, that's the flying. If you were buying Jim Brown, you could probably get it at the 400 Jim Brown autos, nice ones, patch autos, $400 or $500 at the show. And I bet you're wishing you would have took all those prices.
Yeah, because now there's substantially more.
That's the next. Well, I even thought that last year myself. I'm like, yep, Jim Brown's going to fly off the shelves, and it did. There's always a certain few guys at the national that are turning into like the hot names, and I'm kind of curious what they're going to be this year. You know, other than I'm going to be in Joe Burrow waist deep at the national. It's going to be really sickening after I'm going to hear Justin Herbert. I don't care about any of those guys.
Yeah, but at least those guys, it's justified.
I mean, yeah, it is, but it's just not what I'm looking.
Yeah, it's not what you collect. Yeah.
If you love seeing Tom Brady, you're going to see it there. I got to do a little more digging, not as much as it first started, but there's usually a hot names going across the floor, and it catches fast.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were closing the show, Dave.
It's not uncommon.
No, never uncommon. Thank everyone jumping on, talking about the show. Experiences, all that fun. Always a good episode. Always something you can earmark. middle of July. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the beginning when it started because I didn't come on till later because I didn't know you guys were live already. I took my nap, Dave.
Good.
I didn't know.
No, yeah, I set my alarm to go off at 7:40. And it did. Then I got up. Then I came in and I set up my laptop and everything. And I was like, waiting to hear from him. I'm like, it's almost 8 o'clock. And then I turned on YouTube. I'm like, shit, it's live already. Because it popped up on my screen. I'm like, well, that's Ryan and Neil. So then I hurried up and turned it on.
Yeah, I didn't send you the link, Michael. I failed miserably. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Dave didn't either. Yeah. But
Everybody, thank you.
Vinny, come back. We're actually Vinny, come back.
Oh, there he is.
So again, if you're going to the national next week, anybody out there and the folks on here, Joey, RBI crew and the boys, Crypto Grifter, safe travels.
Yes. Have fun and
Yeah.
hope you come back with some cards you didn't expect to find.
Yeah.
I already have a lead on one now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian said he might have something I need. I'm like,
Yeah. Absolute patch auto out of 5 would likely be one you need.
because I know I don't have a lot of absolute stuff.
Yep.
So with that, remember, like, comment, unsubscribe, hit up our OnlyFans, the crypto wallet, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, EMT, well-concealed cash, personal check that isn't post-dated to like 2040,
Nice.
satchels full of money, coins are accepted, no pennies really, big bills, small bills, whatever you want to pay, Patreon, Discord, all the fun. We're here. We're living the dream, as the kids say. So, Michael, Joey, Vinny, Steve, myself, Ryan, Neil, and young Edward.
Edward.
This has been the Insert Revolution podcast. Remember, collecting cards, such a wonderful time. The friendships you forge while collecting those cards, that's what makes it worth it all. Good night, everyone.
Good night.